Hello again, everybody, and welcome to 4 Star Chicago Sports. It is the day after Ben Johnson's first big game in Chicago, and we're going to break it all down right here with you on the Halas Hall Hangover from Austin Booker's big game to our thoughts on the rookies that were out there. There's a lot to break down and a lot to get into. I'm jacked. Everybody's jacked. Let's go bear down right after this. Fired up and fired away. We are down 4 Star today. Dustin has some personal family business. We'll miss him, but we will keep the show afloat without him. How are the Twins doing today after Ben Johnson's first big day in Chicago?
Doing good. There's a lot to dissect, Sean. There was some good, some bad. It's disappointing the starters didn't get a chance to play. I thought that was kind of honestly required in this offseason, but I was at the game. I had a good time. I can't complain about it. Kyle, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the game, football, it was all right, man. There's definitely a lot of ththings the Bears need to clean up going to regular season. In terms of, personally, I'm doing pretty good, Sean. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm living the dream. It's hot. I'm not in my normal studio because I have no AC. And I feel like I would pass out in the garage today. So we're in the house in the air conditioning.
Well, you can't lean back today, Sean.
Oh, so I can.
I know, but the mic's not it doesn't work as well for you.
I'll have to swing it with me. So we had a big first day. And before we get this, let's cut into some business here because Ben Johnson did let us know that Luke Newman left the game in the concussion protocol. Terrell Smith had a groin injury. I'm just going to say Amen had a shoulder injury. Travis Homer also with the calf and Major Burns. There you go. And Major Burns left with a knee injury. No updates as of today, as it's the day off after practice. So we'll have to stay tuned and see how serious these are. Erica's in the house. Bruce is in the house. And I'm sure we'll have a packed house here shortly. So what's going on, boys? Give me your first impressions of what you thought yesterday.
Well, from being there, man, let me just state this about the injuries real quick. Travis Homer's injury looked pretty severe. They left him on the field without seeing that he had suffered an injury. He caught a pass and he wobbled his way for a few yards before he just dropped. But when he got to the sideline, he kind of just fell over. It didn't look good, man. I don't know. I'm not rooting against Travis Homer because he's not a guy I want to see carrying the ball in this season for this offense, and it's true. I really don't. But if Richard Hightower believes he has a place on the special teams unit, I don't know when you're going to see that guy back on a football field, but. Sean, I thought
the Bears signed a running back today, so my guess is they don't expect.
Yeah. I kind of expected that, and Hankins didn't look too sharp either.
Britton Brown.
Ian Wheeler looks pretty good.
They actually signed Britton Brown over the weekend. He did not suit up for this weekend.
Yeah, well, Roshan's hurt.
Oh, he's going to be suiting up now.
Yeah, Roshan's down, but that's going to lead us into something here, man, because before we get too deep into the show, the New York Jets had some breaking news today that they are actually Breece Hall came out and said he's done with the Jets, and the Jets said, hey, you're done with us, we'll trade you. No problem. This is, if you just Google his name, all of this comes up. There is dysfunction. The Jets wound up trading 2 picks in the 2022 draft to move up to grab this gentleman who I think is extremely talented, can do a ton of things on the football field. I would love to see Breece Hall and the Chicago Bears possibly talk about a couple of things about him coming to play some football on the lakefront. What do you boys think about the Bears getting involved in Breece Hall? It seems pretty serious that they're about to move forward with Isaac Davis and Braylon Allen. So give me your thoughts on that, boys.
Yeah, personally, I'm not a big Breece Hall fan, man. I personally probably wouldn't touch it. I think the Bears can get a much better talent in the draft next season than Breece Hall. But it would depend on obviously what it costs the Bears to do so anyways. And I imagine the Jets aren't going to sell cheap. And I also think that you're still trying to figure out what you got in the guys that are here. We don't know what Roshan Johnson's made of, considering the lack of coaching and development he's been given. Kyle Monangai is still a mystery to us. DeAndre Swift has got a contract and he's not going anywhere. So I don't know how much more you can spend on the running back room, Sean. But I personally, I expected where Breece Hall finished last year in fantasy football to be he was my stay away from guy before the draft. I think he's now projected to be drafted in the 3rd round. I do admit that Jets team is awful, and I don't know that anyone's going to succeed over there. But I don't think I don't know that that's an addition that's going to make the Bears any better than they're projected to be today.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, if you're talking about a DeAndre Swift for Breece Hall swap, I'm all in 100% because Breece Hall is the better athlete. It's not even a question. I mean, this guy is, look at his longs for rushes. He's got breakaway speed. 62 was his long in 2022. 83 yards was 2023. 2024 was 42. I mean, he has breakaway speed. He's a do-everything back, 3-down back. He can run. He can catch. He can run between the tackles. He can run on the outside. He's definitely the superior athlete between the two, no doubt about it. In 2023, he had 994 rushing yards and 591 receiving yards. So you're talking about almost 1,600 all-purpose yards.
That'd be more 1,585.
Yeah, and that'd be more than DeAndre Swift had last year, and he had 20 less or 30 less carries the year that he did that in 2023. So I think the reason that Breece Hall has looked kind of inconsistent at this point in his career is because he plays for one of the worst organizations in all sports, in the New York Jets. I think there's still a lot of potential for Breece Hall. Obviously, coming off that major injury in his first season, or I think coming into his first season, you are taking a risk if you trade for a guy like Breece Hall. But I think if you're talking about just talking about the upside, I think Breece Hall is better than DeAndre Swift all day. But it depends on what they're asking for, Sean. I mean, if they want DeAndre Swift in a 2nd-round pick, probably not. If they want DeAndre Swift in a 4th-round pick, I'm all in.
DeAndre Swift and a second reports today suggest that no team is willing to offer more than a day 3 pick for Breece Hall.
Well,
what they're asking is different than what teams are telling them they're willing to give.
If the Bears are willing to do that, and as Kyle pointed out, in 2023, he finished 1,585 from scrimmage. He backed it up with 1,359 last year. I mean, this guy can line up outside. He can line up in the slot. He can take it from the backfield in between the tackles. I honestly believe, and obviously, Brandon, you're not on this train, but if I would do DeAndre Swift for him all day, because I think Breece Hall is a complete upgrade because he does things that DeAndre Swift cannot do.
He's not situational. DeAndre Swift's situational. Correct. We all agree on this podcast over and over again that you don't want DeAndre Swift running between the tackles a bunch. Breece Hall can do that every play. You can do that every play, and he can catch. He's really fast. What are you around a 4.3, Sean?
I believe it was a 4.340. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's incredibly speedy for running back in the NFL. I would, like I said, it depends on what they're asking for. But if they called and were like, hey, we just want this guy out of here and we like DeAndre Swift, so we'll make the trade player for player trade right now.
Do it.
The Bears would be insane not to take that trade. That's crazy.
And then you gotta pay this guy in a year.
Yeah. I mean, you're paying DeAndre Swift right now anyway. It'd be a cheaper year, it'd be 2 years of Breece Hall than it would for DeAndre Swift.
Ben Johnson can go find his guy in the draft, man. I'm much more supportive. If they're aiming for Jeremiah Love or something like that, I'll do that all day over.
Yeah, well, either way you're going to have them, right? So either way it would be DeAndre Swift and Jeremiah Love next year, or Breece Hall and Jeremiah Love next year. I'm taking the latter for sure. Not even a question about it. It's not even.
I would love Jeremiah Love next year. I think
there's no world where they trade Breece Hall for DeAndre Swift. That's not happening. It's not happening.
I don't think
all hypothetical, guys.
It's all hypothetical, but I'll tell you, if that was on the table, the Bears would be fools not to take it.
The age alone won't make that a fair trade.
Real quick, guys, I want to say what's up to Ron. Broski Bears in the house. James Christo's in the house. Relentless Mikey's already here, man.
What up, Mikey?
And Broski so far has my favorite
what's going on, guys?
The day here. I could not agree with you more. Broski Bear says it was a mistake keeping Hightower. Why do the Bears have to do everything half-assed? You bring in all new coaches and keep your bum special teams coach. I've talked about this when the Bears hired Hightower, guys. The San Francisco 49ers do not fire. I mean, sometimes if they're not willing to pay somebody, they'll leave the organization, but they don't fire guys because they're really good coaches or really good players. Hightower, it wasn't good enough to be in the 49ers. He shouldn't be good enough to be in the Bears. He's not. I don't think he's a very good special teams coach. I don't think he's innovative. I don't think he does anything special. And if you watch the game on Sunday, I know it's really early in the season. It's just one preseason game, guys, but we saw some of this last year too. The Bears could not stop the return game to save their lives. I mean, it was absolutely asinine. Every single time the Bears kicked off or punted, it was a 50-yard return. If that continues into the regular season, that's going to put the Bears a step behind every single game, because if every single time the other opposing team gets the ball, they're starting at the 50-yard line. That's not a good start for the Chicago Bears.
Listen, I
this
hate
team
even
needs everything
saying
they
this.
can get against the schedule. Every piece of help they can get in the schedule, they should take. And I don't think Richard Hightower is a very good special teams coach. I don't.
StatMuse is ass, but StatMuse has the 2024 Chicago Bears special teams ranked number 1. NFL, the website NFL themselves have them ranked number 2 last year.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, did you watch it? You were at the game, Bern. You were at the game. You watched it with your eyes, man. Did you see it?
I watched a bunch of. I mean, think about it. Special teamers are already not your starting players. That's not your best of the bunch. I watched the guys who will back those guys up. I'm not. Listen, yesterday's game. We should talk about that. Like, let's talk about the game. What we saw in the game.
No, we're going to get into it. We're definitely getting into that. The chat's weighing in on Breece Hall and DeAndre Swift. So
for a Bears team who was known for defense and special teams for 2 decades, it's going to be tough to convince Bears fans that what we saw yesterday is going to be number 1 in the NFL. I mean, that was absolutely embarrassing. I mean, they talked about it. I know, Brendan, you were at the game, so you didn't get a chance to listen to the broadcast. They talked about it for the entire game. They're like, the Bears cannot stop a kickoff to save their lives. This is horrendous.
Mm-hmm. They didn't. I don't. That the approach was. They didn't. They used like Manungai in their return game. I thought that was kind of a stretch. I don't know. I think they were just kind of testing the waters. I think the Bears were doing that the entire game.
Yeah.
Sean, real quick, Sean, you should start addressing this. Let's get to what the chat thinks about this Breece Hall situation. So Ron says signing Breece Hall would be like signing Emmitt Smith. LOL, not happening. Broski Bear says it would be a 4th or 5th round pick for Breece Hall, not a player. Yeah, but I mean, I understand
if they said that. Yeah, let's do it.
But I mean, how many do you really have room for Breece Hall and DeAndre Swift?
I really hate to say
Bears
this.
Would try to find a way to get DeAndre Swift out of here if they traded for Breece Hall. I mean,
I really hate to say this to everybody, but Breece Hall and DeAndre Swift aren't even in the same book. Breece Hall is a way, way better running back than DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry, Chad.
Look at their college careers in the draft. I mean,
he's much younger. That's why a 4th and a 5th round pick is not going to do it. It's not going to do it.
Yeah. And as far as him being injured, he got injured in his first year. Since then, he has almost 3,000 yards from scrimmage and he has 22 touchdowns in 3 years, and he missed 3/4 of his first year. Breece Hall is a stud. I'm sorry. I for me, it's not even close. Not even close. But I think
the Jets are going to learn very quickly. Well, I'll say this, Broski. I think the Jets are going to learn very quickly. They have no leverage here. When a player tells you that they want out, they're not going to participate. They're changing the culture in your locker room. They're changing the attitude of the players when this is a problem. Every question the media asks then becomes about Breece Hall and what the Jets are going to do with him. You lose leverage really quick. So who knows what a 3rd, 4th round pick, that is possible if the Jets just want to wipe their hands clean of the situation.
Yeah, Kyle and I were talking a little bit ago, but man, what a disgusting organization. I mean, you gave up assets to get this guy into your organization. Understandable that he wasn't drafted by the regime that's there now, but again, when you look at him in totality and what he's done in his career, this is a guy that makes a difference on the football field, and you can't put your 2 nickels together to figure out how to make it work with this guy. I'm sorry, he's more talented than Braylon Allen. He's certainly more talented than Isaiah Davis. The Jets,
Sean,
Jets.
This guy was the first running back taken in that draft. He was the 4th pick in the 2nd round, so right outside of a 1st round pick. And on top of that, guys, anybody who's like, "Oh, I've watched Breece Hall, he's terrible." You don't ever evaluate anybody on the Jets for. I mean, you think that Garrett Wilson wouldn't be better if he was on the Bengals? You think that Breece Hall wouldn't be better if he was on the Chargers? Like, the Jets are a disgrace of an organization, a disgrace to sports, and I would never critique anybody who plays on that team. Anyway, their coaching staffs have been terrible for the last 20 years. The ownership has been terrible for the last 20 years. The GMs have been terrible for the last 20 years. They can't put together an offensive line to save their lives. I mean,
they're a bottom 5 team.
I'm evaluating Breece Hall and what he's done and given the opportunities. I'm evaluating Breece Hall based off his college career, but he is a better running back than DeAndre Swift. He is. It's plain and simple. He's a better running back than DeAndre Swift.
Relentless Mikey, I'm with you 100%. If there's a way the Bears could go and grab Jeremiah Love, I will tell you this, though. from all accounts that I'm reading.
Then the Bears had a bad season if they get
Yeah,
Jeremiah Love.
because
Dude.
I mean, this guy's they're talking about Heisman for this guy. They're talking about
top 10 pick, man.
Yeah, they're saying that he could be better than Ashton Genty was last year, and that's at Notre Dame. Like
some other this happens every year though. Some other running backs are gonna make them put themselves on notice. Nobody knew who Omarion Hampton was 2 years ago. This is the way it goes. These guys come out of nowhere. There's a chance that Jeremiah Love's not even the first running back selected by the time that draft comes. I believe he will be. I think
there's a chance.
I think he's a 3-down back. I think he can do it all well. But sometimes guys come out of the woodworks at this position, man. The running back is strange in the NCAA.
Well, I mean, based off of his play so far in college, and based off of the way even Brian and you and Dustin talk about him, kind of Jeremiah Love is not going to fall in the draft. I mean, unless he has a massive injury, guys, he's going to be drafted highly. So if the Bears get him, guys, that means it wasn't a very good 2025 for the Chicago Bears. Unless they plan on trading. You want to trade up in the first round, you're talking about future first-round picks or second-round pick. I mean, how good do you think Jeremiah Love is compared to the running backs that show up in
how good does
2025?
Does Ben Johnson think he is?
Yeah. I honestly think this was here to get a running back, and as TJ Profit puts in here about Ollie Gordon, Kyle and I were talking about this earlier as well today. I mean, this guy going into the season was a Heisman hopeful. He was one of the top running backs in the country, fell into an Oklahoma State team that I believe had 4 wins. It was just god awful, and that dropped his draft stock. I think
he looked tremendous yesterday. I can tell you that.
He's an absolute steal. On all levels.
He is a mammoth of a human being. He's a strong, big dude. That guy is going to be able to handle the NFL with no problem. Ollie Gordon was probably, to me, was the best Dolphin yesterday of everybody on the field. He was their best player for sure. If I'm a Dolphins fan and I'm on a podcast right now talking about the Dolphins, I'd be talking a lot about Ollie Gordon because he looked really, really, really good. And as Brennan stated earlier, Alexander Madison is now out for the season. He got neck surgery right after the game. I think he was taken directly to the hospital, if I'm not mistaken.
He might be out.
I mean, that was one of the most brutal hits I've ever seen in football. I don't think they never replayed it. So a lot of Bears, people who looked away from the TV for a second didn't get a chance to see it. But
I was
he lands on the top of his head, and it looks like his whole body just compressed.
Well, the hit is actually pretty soft. The defender literally just grabs him,
throws him on the ground
at the chest area, and kind of throws him down. But he, I think to embrace the fall, Madison kind of lunges like he wants to front flip, and he hits his crown of his helmet meets the ground, and all of his weight comes down, compressed on top of him. I immediately knew there was trouble there, man. He didn't get up, and I looked at Mike. Yeah, he was
his walk off the field was wonky. He looked like I thought maybe it was concussion because he looked like he was kind of. I mean, it took him like 10 minutes to get from where he fell to the tunnel. I'm like, what is good? He must be concussed or something. But apparently he had a broken neck.
They were deciding for a while if he was going to have a stretcher and a brace. I can assure you of that, and be carted out of there. I'm surprised it's not. You hear that now, Kyle? Which one of you guys told that he got a neck surgery? He probably shouldn't have gotten up and walked off the field on his own power. Like, you're supposed to stabilize the neck if there's an injury.
100%. You're right.
They said there wasn't much information released, but from the writers who worked for the Dolphins, from what I understand, this is quoting them. From what I understand, he was at the hospital before the game was over.
Oh yeah, so you're right there. Yeah, he's not too far away, but yeah, I knew that something was wrong, man. I looked at my girlfriend and said, like, he is not getting up. He's not going to get up. And I'm talking about immediately after seeing him hit the ground, I said to her, he's not getting up.
I don't like to see people get hurt.
No surprise. And Mike McDaniel went out there, and once I saw that, I was like, oh, he's in trouble.
I don't want to see anybody get hurt, guys, but I think Ollie Gordon just moved up the depth chart in a couple different ways.
No, I wanted to say that, Kyle. Good. We hope the best for Alexander Madison. Him and his family. Thoughts are in our prayers for sure, man. I mean, I felt bad for the dude when he got up and walked off the field. I have a video of it. I sent it to Lindsay. I don't know if we're gonna do something with it, but guys, he looked really upset. It's like he knew something was wrong.
Well, I will tell you, to get to this chat, I just want to say I'm with a lot of you guys that are ripping Ashton Genty. I don't think he's going to be the next coming. I don't think he's going to be a bust. I just don't think he's going to be all of that. And as we saw the Raiders' offensive line, if that doesn't improve, he's not going to be that running back that everyone thinks he's going to be. I personally didn't think that before he got drafted to the Raiders, before he came into the NFL. I was saying this. I'm going to stand on that. I think there's about 5 running backs that are going to have better careers overall than Ashton Jeanty that came out of this class alone. We'll see about next year's, because there's a couple backs in the draft next year that I really like as well. So, and again, I'm not saying that he's going to be a bust. I just don't think he's going to be Barry Sanders or the next coming, like the media stuffing down your throat. That's
I think
all
any
I'm
one
saying.
of the 3 guys drafted, and they were in the same conversation as Jeanty when the draft was approaching, like the Judkins, Henderson, Hampton. Those guys could all have the potential to have a better career than Ashton Jeanty. But I'll agree with you. I'll say this, Sean. It was going to take a lot of work and a few years to do it. We all knew that, but that Raiders offensive line didn't look too repaired.
That's
to
the
me.
worst offensive line play I've ever seen in a
God.
preseason game in my entire life. I've never seen anything like. I mean, they're literally.
And that's what they looked like last year.
Would get the ball, and there was 5 guys standing in front of him. Like the whole offensive line collapsed.
Yeah, he got swallowed like 3 or 4 times, and he only carried the ball like 5 times. I mean,
Sean, remember that in your fantasy drafts, guys.
Sean, you're the one who played that little clip of that guy. I don't know if I forgot what podcast it was, but he's like, I don't understand the point of drafting a running back if you have a terrible offensive line and you're not close to winning a championship, and just wasting 3 years of his career. Like, there's so many things the Raiders should have done in that spot, like maybe an offensive lineman probably would have been a better pick.
A quarterback when they're
I mean, Will Campbell looked like an absolute monster in New England.
He did.
Like a monster in New England. If they could have found a way to trade up and land, make sure they land Will Campbell, that's what the play I would have made if I was.
Me and Dustin were convinced they were going to. I was convinced. Dustin convinced me they were going to surprise everyone and draft Jahdae Barron. I thought that would have been a good fit for both the player and the team. But yeah, they went Jeanty, and I think that guy's. I think if Genty's not drafted by the Raiders, Colston Loveland's not a Bear.
Hey, Brandon, how about a Jahdae Walker?
Yeah, he was. I thought he was the best wide receiver on the field for the Bears yesterday. Man, he looked pretty good. I mean, that the pass from Bagent to Alexander, man, I'll tell you that. That was
his like, and I think Ben's going to be very aggressive year 1 as a head coach. Nice throw for Alexander. Did he get his feet down? He did. Touchdown.
Sean,
show that play again and watch Braxton Jones.
Braxton Jones got destroyed on that play.
Really?
Hold on.
Let's see it. Yeah.
You ready? His like, and I think Ben's going to be very aggressive year 1 as a head coach. Nice throw for Alexander. Did he get his feet down? He did. Touchdown.
I don't think Braxton Jones moved.
Looked like he didn't remember he was playing football. He didn't get blown up. He just got blown by.
He got blown by. And that leads us into some NFL talk for the Chicago Bears from yesterday. And we do have a comparison here of these 2 guys. Theo Benedette also got on to the left side of the line yesterday, and I forgot to add him to here. I don't think we'll be seeing him there, but I'll be honest here. When you look over a 58.3 in pass blocking grade for his first professional game, I'm not too upset about that. That 44.3 on Braxton Jones is god-awful, 60 being your league average. I know not everyone likes PFF, but we have to go off of something here. So what were your guys' impressions of, obviously Braxton Jones on a few plays did not look good.
Real quick, man, we got to catch up to some of this chat. Ron said Jeanty has a bad O-line. He's been running into walls. Yeah, he was simulated rush for Bagent practice. Okay. Carl says
he was saying he let him in for Bagent to practice. Like what he would do against a rush on the regular. So
and then Carl follows up with beating on the inside is embarrassing, and it is. Really, it is for a left tackle. Braxton pulled a Larry Borum. Nice. See what you did there. Yeah, that Miami team, guys, is in so much trouble. I mean, am I wrong?
It's not a good team.
Yeah, Sean, Jay, and I did the season projections for every single team. We put Miami pretty low down there. Yeah, I mean, Sean, the only thing I'll say about Braxton Jones, and we know that he's an average left tackle to begin with, right? We all know that. Nobody on this podcast has ever come out and said, I think Braxton Jones is a perennial Hall of Famer that should have, like, he's just average. But I will say he is coming off a massive injury. I don't think he's in exactly tip-top shape or where he wants to be or where the Bears want him to be. But either way, I mean, just the fact that Ozzie Trapilo, to me, you guys, Ozzie Trapilo did not play perfectly. If you watch the game, he was not good in run blocking. A couple guys got off his block immediately and tackled one guy behind the line of scrimmage. But you know what? At least his excuse is he's a rookie developing and learning how to play in the NFL. And a 60 PFF score really isn't all that bad for a guy playing his first ever NFL snaps. I think just by default, if you look at the way they play the game, you look at the lateral movement for Ozzie Trapilo and you watch Ozzie Trapilo in pass pro, he is a better player than Braxton Jones. And I'm not talking about Braxton Jones coming off an injury. I'm talking about Braxton Jones last year, Braxton Jones the year prior, Braxton Jones' rookie season. I think Ozzie Trapilo, the ceiling is way, way, way higher for him. And at this point, if you believe that he has a better chance of being your left tackle of the future, then get him in there as soon as you possibly can and give him help. Let the running backs chip over there. Let the tight ends chip over there. Give him help. But I think you're only going to hurt his development. I don't think offensive line is one of those positions where like, hey, you can sit on the bench for the next couple of years and just soak up this information. You'll get better. I think the only way for Ozzie to get better and catch up to the NFL speed is for him to start at left tackle for the Chicago Bears. And I think he gives the Bears a better chance of winning football games. I mean, Brennan, what do you think?
Well, I think we cannot. I mean, we have to mention the fact that it can't be overlooked, guys. It sent a message to me. I don't know if you agree, Kyle. You just said he's recovering from an injury. Maybe they're trying to get him used to game speed. It leaves a statement that he is the only projected starter that played in yesterday's game. I mean, that to me says everything. As the door is wide open, Kyle. I think as long as Trapilo looks better in the moments that he's given, like yesterday, he's for sure going to win the job. Man, I think Braxton Jones is a good player to have on your roster. A lot of people suggested trading him if an offer is made, but I listen, like you said, I've said this before. Trapilo, if you think Trapilo can ultimately be a quality starting left tackle in the NFL, it doesn't matter if Braxton Jones is better than Trapilo today. If you think Trapilo is that dude, he has got to start in week one.
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
Without a doubt.
Relentless Mikey here says he's Braxton Jones. He's talking about Braxton Jones. He's good first throw, and his pass pro has always been subpar for 3 years. Well, if you're talking about a team who has a right-handed quarterback and that's his blind side, then right now, if you're picking somebody for that job for that position, I'm taking the guy who's better in pass pro because that's Caleb's blind side, and the most important person on the Chicago Bears is Caleb Williams.
It's harder to be good at than run.
I said this to Sean today. You could teach run blocking. It's tough to teach pass pro.
I'll give you guys this, and we don't know. We haven't heard how serious Darnell Wright's injury is, and if he's going to be out long term. They obviously don't have to tell us. But Ozzie Trapilo spent his entire college career on the right side. So if there was something that was long-term to Darnell Wright, I would not rule out him bouncing over to the right side, and then you're back to Braxton Jones on the left side. I'm just saying this is how you fill out your best line with your best available players. So all I'm saying.
Sean, we've also heard they really like Theo Benedict.
Sean, I'm with you. I'm with you there. And I think that, listen, Darnell Wright's a phenomenal player. He's going to get better. We kind of just assume this, but I still believe it. He's going to get better. And I think if Ozzie Trapilo were to have to, and I'm not, the worst case scenario is that he is injured for a long term, Darnell Wright. But if Ozzie Trapilo played right tackle for a portion of the season, I think that doesn't hurt for him potentially playing left tackle in his career. You know what I mean? There's some snaps and some games he could use. And if you don't think that he's the best he can be right now, which obviously he's not, guys, rookies are never in their prime, but that wouldn't hurt his development.
No, and you see here, as Kyle just touched on, you can teach run blocking, you can't teach pass blocking. Theo Benedict, 81.7 pass block grade this past weekend. That's pretty solid. He bounced over to the right side. He bounced over to the left side. He's playing both sides. Looks like he could make this team as a swing tackle. I'm praying. Obviously, I want Darnell Wright on the field. He's one of the best right tackles in all of football.
Yeah, so Sean, when they kept showing him on the sideline, I mean, it's tough to tell when somebody's standing in their street clothes, but he had a big smile on his face. He was chit-chatting. He was walking up and down the sideline. He didn't look like a guy who was like, man, I'm going to miss this big chunk of the season due to injury. Like, I know that's projecting based off of something so small as him standing on the sideline in street clothes, but he did. Usually when guys are injured, you'll see him sitting down on the bench, or they won't even be out there on the sideline if it's a really bad injury. The one that's concerning me, and we'll talk more about the preseason game, obviously, but just because the chat's been talking about it, the fact that they're signing a cornerback after Kyler Gordon was banged up in practice wherever he suffered that injury, that's concerning to me because Kyler Gordon has dealt with injuries basically every year at this point of his career. I mean, you guys remember, wasn't it the first game of the season, Sean, where he broke his hand? That was the first game of the season, his rookie season, wasn't it?
Yeah,
we were
he was
there.
out for he was out for like the first 5
Yeah, it
weeks.
was the Packers.
I thought it was a couple of games in.
No, it was the Packers. We were there. He left that game. He was throwing in the end zone. He left that game, the Packers game. We were there. It was the home opener. So maybe the second game of the season, but it was a home opener. And that's where he broke his hand. And he's had injuries ever since. I mean,
didn't he miss some substantial time too? Like 4 weeks or something?
Yeah, he missed like 4 to 6 weeks, I want to say.
Yeah,
I really hope he's not long term. And
I
did hear it was a hamstring. So
yeah, relentless Mikey says hamstring.
Yeah, it could linger. It could, and you know what? He's a guy for me. Set him out the next 3 weeks. I'm not worried about Kyler Gordon. Let him get.
What's up, Joseph? How you doing, man?
And I think we'll be okay. You can't stop injuries. And
what's going on, Joseph? Anybody recognize Joseph?
I don't.
I don't remember. Sorry if you've been here before. I just don't recognize the name. What's up, Joe?
That's for you, buddy. Thanks for joining us. Please hit that like, man. Tune in, see if you like our content. Yeah, another thing I want to say about Shapiro, guys, real quick. I don't want to, before we move on from that conversation. I thought, personally, watching it on the field, which, by the way, was strange that he played for a few drives and then was taken off the field. Does Benedict suffered an injury or something? He went back out and finished the game. He played to the last whistle.
When Ben Johnson went over the injuries, there was no lineman outside of Luke Newman that he mentioned as far as injuries.
I think they were just shifting everybody in and out.
I don't know, guys, if you noticed, but yeah, they brought Shapiro back to finish the game. But
yeah, they put him over on the left side for the end.
I thought he looked really good. Yeah, he was he played left tackle at the very end of the game for like almost the entire final quarter. I thought he looked really solid against Bull Rush. Like the guys that just tried to body you and power through you. He didn't really move. On the guys that were a little more elusive, and I couldn't tell you the Dolphins players' names, guys, I'm sorry. But on the guys that were a little more elusive, the defenders that had some moves and some hands, he struggled. He struggled. Trapillo did. And
Dante,
he can anchor, though. That's one thing I saw that from him that Braxton Jones has had a consistent issue with is it's hard to move that dude, man. I mean, my girlfriend was like, that guy is fucking huge. I was like, yeah. She said he's like the character from Game of Thrones. What's his name? I said, yeah, the Mountain. Yeah, because that's what he looks like out there.
Dante, I'm glad you joined the show because we wanted to give you a little shout out here. If we got to give credit where credit is due, man. Dante talked about Walker, the receiver on the Bears, before obviously a month ago. And that guy looked like he is a legit football player and could definitely make an NFL roster, if not a practice squad for sure. He definitely looked better than J.P. Richardson, everybody's been talking about. That Walker guy, to me, he looks legit, guys.
Yeah. Alexander's catch, man. Listen, if you saw that from the angle I saw it from, Alexander threw it to a place where nobody was or ever going to be. And somehow this guy not only made it there, he stretched the full length of his body and barely got his hands on that ball. But I mean, it was a hell of a catch. Well, he tapped his toes, obviously, guys.
Here we go.
His leg, and I think Ben's going to be very aggressive year one as a head coach. Nice throw for Alexander. Did he get his feet down? He did. Touchdown.
These are all 8 seconds, Brandon.
Let's not get canceled. That was a hell of a play, guys. It was a hell of a play, and unfortunately, neither of those guys are going to be on
the Walker touchdown. Was awesome too, man. I mean, that was an amazing throw by Case, or I think it was Case.
You know what? We're going to play that one more time because Dante just joined the show. I mean, that guy was draped all over him, dude. That was a great catch.
And his head hit the ground hard on that catch, man. I was surprised he got back up and danced.
Sean, what did his coaches say about him in college? They said he was like
They said he was the glue that kept the team together. He meant everything to.
Like
I believe it was Texas A&M.
The heart
and soul of the team. The heartbeat of the team. Yeah, that's what I think they said. So. What's the best part, DJ Prophet? We're only limited to like 7 or 8 seconds, so I got to keep them really short so we don't get canceled.
Yeah, guys, we don't want any trademark woes over here. Every time we put Mike Ross says, "Whoa, that one was like 10 seconds."
Yeah, quit trying to infringe, chat.
Well, I'll tell you this. We're going to violate it.
Sean, DJ's talking about the celebration that skipping down the side.
What's that? He had a name for that. He named it in college, and they made a big deal about it during the game. They actually called it out and said he's doing his whatever it was called, and I guess he's made it famous. That little skip, dragging your foot up the sideline or whatever it was.
So, what was even better was watching Case Keenum try to do it. that was more entertaining than watching him do it.
I will tell you this though: when it comes to a J.P. Richardson, a Jahdae Barron, a Maurice Alexander, I mean, this when you have Zacchaeus, you have Burden, you have Roma Dunze, you have DJ Moore. I mean, this is going to be a tough roster to crack, especially I was listening to Brad Biggs today, and, he's pretty solid. I try to catch his report every morning at 7 a.m. on the Score 670.
He's incredible.
Yeah. He seems to think it's not going to be an emergency quarterback. He thinks that the Chicago Bears are going to carry 3 quarterbacks on the active roster on the 53-man. That's interesting. Because that takes you away from.
You guys know what I would do? I would make Case Keenum a coach. I would find some position for some position coach for him, be like an assistant quarterbacks coach or something. I'd make him a coach, and I would keep Tyson Bagent if you have to, Austin Reed, or bring in another veteran as emergency quarterback. But I mean, I don't know if you listened to Case Keenum's presser after the game when on Fox, they all the play. I think Austin Booker went up there for an interview. Tyson Bagent went up there for an interview. Case Keenum's just an awesome dude, man. I absolutely love that guy. He's just, first of all, he's very articulate, very well spoken. He sounds like a coach to me, and obviously he's 37 years old, so this guy, he's a grown man. He's not a kid anymore. He's been doing this for a long time. He's had plenty of these interviews, but just how he breaks down the game of football and how complimentary he was to the rookies and to Walker in particular. And he was talking about, he was the one that was walking off and was like, yeah, you guys see how much strength Cairo Santos has added to those legs. Like, clearly, obviously, Cairo Santos made that a point in the offseason to get stronger. And this is the first I've heard anybody talk about this, because last year I would have told you there's not a chance in hell Cairo Santos is making 57 field goal into the wind. But he made that look easy. I mean, he made that look easy. And I'm the one, you guys know, I'm the one who's been talking about this kicker competition all offseason, but nobody ever said that Cairo Santos added 8 pounds of muscle to his lower body. I mean, he looks like he could have kicked that from 70 yards. I guess Ben Johnson went up to him after the kick and was like, you could have kicked that from a lot longer than 58.
The only way I think that this team does retain 3 quarterbacks is if you that would, to me, implies that Bagent is the backup. Because Case Keenum is here for a very specific reason. He's here to mentor Caleb. He's here to coach him on the sideline. So if you want Case Keenum to be the backup who plays when Caleb's injured as well, Bagent's not serving you much of a purpose to be on the active roster. If you think Bagent's the better backup and he should be the guy who replaces Caleb immediately, then you're still going to keep Case Keenum to do the job that you paid him to do to begin with, which is mentor Caleb Williams. So I would imagine if there's 3 quarterbacks on this team, Tyson Bagent is the number 2 quarterback on the football team.
And Kyle, I looked this up today. Over the past 3 seasons, Santos 19 of 22 from 50 plus, and one of those blocks, if everyone remembers, was that cheating ass Green Bay bastards illegally on the back of the center to block that field goal in Chicago.
Yeah, but Sean, they did talk about after the game, and when they were the post-game show, they said that he does tend to have a low trajectory when kicking 45 plus, but he didn't yesterday. That thing was a boomer. That was not a low trajectory. He kicked that thing high, and that thing had plenty of distance. And Ron, unfortunately, another wasted draft pick, but I do not believe Tyler Scott is going to make the 53. Tyler Scott just doesn't stand out to me. He just doesn't stand out to me when I watch him.
I don't do anything.
Yeah, he's not a good route runner. I don't think his speed is enough to keep him on this roster. I just don't think Tyler Scott has a place on the Chicago Bears, especially if guys like Walker keep doing what they're doing. I mean, these guys are taking advantage of the opportunities they're given. Tyler Scott's never done that. He's never done.
No, Tyler Scott was on the field yesterday, and he was, blanketed
unheard of.
Guys who are younger than him who have never played in the NFL. That's not the way you make a roster. I don't care for Tyler Scott to be on the roster. I'm not. Listen, if you're not the best of the backups when you've been in the league for 2-3 years, and the rest of the guys around you are younger and less experienced, he should be dominating when he's on the field offensively, man. I mean, I think he had a catch for like 9 yards or something, didn't he, yesterday?
Yeah, and he had a catch one too, didn't he?
Yeah. So I listen. All these guys that we talked about on the fringe of the wide receiver bubble probably won't be there, guys. If you're going to go into the season with 5 wide receivers, you have DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Luther Burden, Zacchaeus ain't going anywhere, and Duvernay was signed to be the return specialist, and regardless of whether or not that's what he does, he will be on the roster as a wide receiver. That's fine.
And remember, and
I
Devin
don't know.
Duvernay, the practice that Sean and I went to, he had 4 or 5 catches, and he had
Yeah.
three
very
catches in the
active.
game yesterday. So I mean, I don't think he's the worst receiver in the world either. So I mean,
And he's doing what I meant Tyler Scott should, right, guys? You knew
Yeah.
he looked like he played in the league, and he's like, hey, I'm out here with all these kids. I'm going to be the guy that's open for the football, and that's what I feel like Tyler Scott should be doing when he's on the field with the fours.
You guys heard me when the chat was talking about JP Richardson the other day and how much they like him. I said this is just not a good roster for JP Richardson to be on because they're so. I think that's the deepest room in the Chicago Bears is the wide receiver room. I think the same can be said for Tyler Scott. As a matter of fact, I think they're kind of one and the same. I think the only guy who stuck out to me really yesterday. You're talking about live action games, live bullets. The only guy who I could say, man, I'd like to get another look at is Walker. I mean, that was a beautiful touchdown catch, and he was their leading receiver yesterday. I mean, the guy had 4 catches.
Now, let's be fair, because Luther Burden.
Well, Sean, Luther Burden's already on the roster.
Well, no, Luther Burden should have been the leading receiver on this football team yesterday, and I wanted to get into that because we all knew that he was very good, but Jesus Christ, this guy is going to be open all the time. I swear to God, and he's going to be impossible to cover. And I'll tell you.
Yeah, and you got some good snapshots of him yesterday, man. I mean, the situational football, he's just a good player, man. He's just a good football player.
That pass that I don't remember. It didn't get picked off. It came really close to getting picked off. The defender dropped it. The Bajan threw. I forget what receiver was running in a flat route. And Luther Burden was maybe 4 or 5 yards ahead of that same receiver. They ran the same route, which I don't know. Yeah. Ben Johnson, I hope that's not a thing for majority of the season. But they ran the same route a few yards apart, and Luther Burden was ahead, and he had already beaten his defender, man. And, I mean, he's gone. He is now the last person left seeing green. And Bajan threw it to the receiver behind him, and it almost got picked. And regardless of that, Bajan made the wrong decision, and the ball almost getting intercepted is like, that's a touchdown. Luther Burden's taking that to the house for a touchdown. If that ball is not, he is the real deal, man.
And you know what? I don't want to rip Jim Miller too much, but Brett Biggs said the same thing this morning, which just made me sick as well. They're like on that overthrow that Burden should have threw his hands up and tried to catch that. If he did, that safety would have destroyed him. And he might have been missing.
Yeah, let's wait till the regular season to be doing
amen.
To be doing shit like that. Yeah.
He was on a silver platter, dude. I'm like, no, I don't want him to do that, dude. No, that's fine. It's preseason. The fact that he was open so much makes me very happy that he was open in the end zone. And that was another thing on that announcing crew yesterday. They were like, oh, we're so happy that he ignored Luther Burden and took the under route. I'm like, Luther Burden was open for a touchdown in the corner of the end zone. You take the touchdown. That was a bad read by Luther.
Sean, we got Nick Shelby in the house here, man.
Oh, what's up, Mr. Shelby?
Yeah, what's going
on, Nick? Thanks for joining us, man. Hit that like and subscribe.
Anytime you want, I'll take that Caleb Williams off your hands at a friendship discount price.
Hey guys, Loveland's had a few drops. Loveland's had a few drops in practice that they've reported. He had a drop, I believe one drop. I don't remember seeing 2 in that game. I'm not worried about that, Nick. That's going to get itself corrected. Ben Johnson. I mean, these coaches aren't going to accept things like those. That'll be fixed.
Yeah, Colston Loveland's clearly going to be a good player in the NFL. He's one of the best route runners in the draft. You can already see that start to translate on the practice field and even a little bit in that preseason game. He's going to be a big part of this offense. Ben Johnson loves him. He drafted him at number 10 for a reason. He's definitely going to be an integral part of the offense going forward. I expect every single week for Colston Loveland to get more and more integrated into the offense.
Yeah, and you know what? In his press conference afterwards, he talked about that. One of the questions he was asked is if those 3 rookies, Loveland, Trapilo, and Burden were Monungai. Sorry, not Trapilo. Monungai, Burden, and Loveland were in the trust circle, and he said no, they're not yet.
They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. They absolutely should.
Right.
But I do believe this. I believe that Colston Loveland's going to have a sooner impact on this team than Luther Burden does.
Ooh, I don't know about that. I think they might click at the same time.
Yeah, I was going to say it might just be like they might keep them on the exact same trajectory.
I think Luther Burden's going to take a couple of weeks. I think that Colston Loveland's going to be an impactful player week 1. I do, guys.
I like Zacchaeus. but I'd rather see Luther Burden out there, and I think Ben Johnson will as well. And really quick, let's take a look at.
Man, Zacchaeus has impressed me. I'll be honest with you.
I'm not dissing Zacchaeus.
He's just a good football player. He's not special, but he's a good football player.
And I advocated for the Bears signing this guy, knowing he was going to be a free agent, and I'm glad that they did.
No, he's a good third down receiver. He finds ways to get open when the quarterback's in trouble. Zacchaeus was a good signing for the Bears. I think it was a depth signing, but he may end up playing a big role for this team if somebody gets injured. And he's definitely a guy you want on this team for sure. And he's looked good in camp too. Nobody's talking. I mean, people don't talk about Zacchaeus a lot, but he's been the practice that Sean and I went to. He had a very good practice. Well, Sean, what did he have? There was
a game last year where I
texted on the sideline.
Yeah,
there was a Washington game last year. I texted you guys. How did Kingsbury not know he had this guy? Because he just went off.
Kingsbury's an idiot.
I think he caught 8 of 9 targets for like 99 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Eagles defense or something like that. I mean, he had a day, dude. And I texted you guys, man, he's a free agent. I would love for the Bears to take a chance on him. I think that he's due for a bigger role than people assume he is.
Let's talk more about this game. Let's talk about some people individually, guys. I mean, let's talk about the linebacking room. Let's talk about Austin Booker. Let's talk about the coach Ben Johnson, his energy on the sideline. Just let's
the first guys. He's bringing an offense here that we were excited to see. The thing that he did best in Detroit. The thing he's probably done best in the league. So, 21 of 29 passing for between. This is only Tyson Bagent. I'm excluding Austin Reed. Keenum and Bagent. 21 of 29. I think it was 183 yards and 3 touchdowns. For the sample size the Bears fans received of Ben Johnson's offense, that's pretty damn good. And they did not play a starter other than Braxton Jones during that game.
I was going to say,
do you mind if I go over the numbers real quick and then you can run with it?
No, go ahead.
Just real quick, guys, just to anybody who didn't get a chance to see the game or the whole game. When Burton's talking about Ben Johnson, the offense, you guys, I understand it's a preseason game and it's really early and we got to keep everything in perspective here. But the Bears won time of possession. They won total plays. They won total yards. They won yards per play. They were the same in red zone touchdown opportunities. They were the same in red zone attempts. They had basically the same third down percentage. The Bears had less penalties. The Bears had less penalty yards. The Bears had more total yards. They had more, they had more passing yards. They only had 10 less rushing yards. They had the same yards per rush as Miami. I mean, the Bears, if you look at the two teams comparatively, the Bears had more yards per attempt. The Bears had more passing attempts. If you look at the two teams comparatively, the Bears were the better team on Sunday. I know the game ended in a tie, but you guys know that if the Bears put Case Keenum back in on that last drive where Austin Reed came in and the Bears picked up a fumble at the 41-yard line, I think it was, Case Keenum would have won that game. No doubt about it, he would have won that game.
If they had put Cairo Santos back on the field, they would have won the game. They had less than 2 minutes to play, and he had a 56-yard field goal. They could have attempted. They chose not to. I mean,
I think Ben Johnson was being aggressive.
Yeah, I think the two coaches had agreed previously before we're not ending this game on a field goal. I honestly do. I think the two guys had a conversation about that because both teams were just like they didn't even think about it, man. It wasn't like looking to the sideline. The quarterback wasn't wondering, am I going for it or are you going to bring the kick? The quarterback just lined up again.
Yeah, you know what Ben Johnson said to the team before the game, guys? He said, you guys, these games don't matter, but they are important. That was the exact quote before they took the field. These games do not matter. The score doesn't matter, but these games are important. This is all about development. Sorry, Sean. I mean, you can let's see what you got.
I was just going to say that I see people in the past saying in the chat saying don't follow these Bagent psychopaths. Now, look, Tyson Bagent, I still do think he showed some flashes. He knows how to run this offense. He missed Luther Burden open in the end zone. He threw that ball high. Later, he stared down his first read. It resulted in a tip ball that wasn't intercepted. This is the guy that we want to start. I think that under Ben Johnson, he's going to, if he winds up staying in Chicago, which I think he will, and continues to develop, and Caleb Williams has to miss a game, I do feel he's capable of managing the game under Ben Johnson's guidance and hopefully getting us in a position to be able to win a football game. By no means do I think he's a second coming of some backup that could steal Caleb Williams' job, but I do feel confident in his abilities to run this offense, especially with this coaching staff here.
Yeah, and you see a lot of people in the chat talking about Keenum should be the QB2. Well, you guys have to understand, I mean, first and foremost, Case Keenum has been in the NFL for 15 years. Okay, guys, he's ran almost every single offensive scheme you could possibly run. This guy is a professional football player. He's also 37 years old. He lacks mobility. He's a statue in the pocket. I think what they're doing is the reason that Tyson Bagent is the number 2 quarterback is because the ceiling is higher. And the reason that Case Keenum looks better than Tyson Bagent and Caleb Williams, and he's probably going to look better than Caleb Williams next week. But the reason that he does is because he's a NFL quarterback. He's done this before. He does when in terms of ceiling, a guy who could offer you maybe a chance at a Super Bowl. Case Keenum's not in that conversation. Bagent, I believe, if Caleb Williams gets hurt because of athleticism, and like Sean, like you said, for being a third-year quarterback in a brand new system, he does show a lot of poise in the pocket. Yeah. He does. He looks like he's done this before, for sure. Listen, is he the best quarterback in the NFL? No. If he was, he wouldn't be a backup. He'd be starting somewhere. The reason he's a backup is because that Sean, like you said, he stared down his first read, results in an interception. But I think if you give Tyson Bagent the same amount of time to learn this offense as you do Caleb Williams, I think ultimately Tyson Bagent gives you a higher ceiling than Case Keenum. They even had a couple design plays for Tyson Bagent to roll out of the pocket and run. They're never going to do that for Case Keenum ever. He's never going to have a design run ever.
I was going to say, well, and guys, Tyson Bagent has his limitations. He does, but
he does.
Sure,
of the two players that are behind Caleb Williams, if Ben Johnson starts to open up doors to new plays because you can design runs for Caleb Williams, once he starts to get comfortable with using Caleb Williams as a runner, you're going to have to, like you said, Kyle, you're going to have to entirely exclude that from your playbook when Case Keenum steps on the field. If Tyson Bagent can keep the playbook relatively the same, what are we laughing at?
He says people still enamored by the fact that Bagent looked more capable as a passer in the field, like being the gold medalist at the special.
I think that Tyson Bagent can play a little more comparatively to Caleb Williams. So if Case Keenum comes on the field, you're going to eliminate some of the things that you've already.
You can't do running options for the quarterback if Case Keenum is playing. You can run the same play. I agree with you, Brandon. You can run the same playbook under Tyson Bagent that you can under Caleb Williams. Is it going to look as pretty? No, absolutely not. And they're probably not going to do a lot of throwing downfield when Tyson Bagent is the quarterback. But I agree with Brandon. I think you can keep the game plan pretty much the same. You don't have to change a whole bunch. Not to mention,
in Case Keenum, you wouldn't have to change. You just have to remove things without a doubt.
Case Keenum was here to be a mentor, and I think he's doing a really good job of that. And I think they should continue to let him do that. And like I said, he should be like a player's coach. But yeah, I think ultimately they think when Tyson Bagent learns this offense, just like Caleb Williams, and they get the NFL experience to be considered veterans, guys like Case Keenum, I think they both offer a higher ceiling than Case Keenum. One thing I want to say real quick on this podcast, though, guys, is I see a lot of people in the chat. I've talked to a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of things on Facebook and Instagram who almost seems like they want Caleb Williams or Tyson Bagent to fail. I don't want either of them to fail. I want Caleb Williams to be the best starting quarterback in the NFL and Tyson Bagent to be the best backup quarterback in the NFL. That's ultimately the goal. And if Ben Johnson believes that Tyson Bagent has a higher ceiling and should be the number 2 than Case Keenum, then I trust Ben Johnson, because from everything I've seen, Ben Johnson is doing everything right. And his energy on the sideline yesterday, the way he reacted to Noah Sewell stopping the Miami Dolphins at the goal line and 4th down and keeping them out of the end zone. I haven't seen anything like that from a Bears coach in a long time. And it was one of my favorite parts of the entire game. And Sean, obviously you liked it as well. You put it as a picture in the background there in the thumbnail. I mean, it was literally one of the best parts of the entire game. I don't know which one of you guys did the thumbnail, but just that picture of Ben Johnson, that is clearly him flexing.
Yeah, it's when Noah Sewell made that.
Went in the back. And you talk about linebacker depth. Noah Sewell looks like a very capable player to me. He looks like he could be a good player in the NFL.
Can I say something really quick? I don't normally do this, but
are we done with the? I don't think the chat is. Listen, guys. Anything can be said about anybody. I respect Tyson Bagent. I don't care who the backup quarterback is. I really don't. It can be Case Keenum, it can be Tyson Bagent. You don't want either of those guys playing football for you, and neither one of them is an NFL starter. And you guys might disagree with me on that. I don't believe Bagent's an NFL starter.
No,
I
mean, Case
think
Keenum's
his limitations.
But
if the guy can glide along the league in this league on the bench, good for him. Godspeed, man. But I don't want either one of those guys playing football.
I'll tell you this.
Team. So it really doesn't. It shouldn't matter too much to anyone who the number 2 quarterback is, because you don't want to see.
Tyson
worst
Bagent.
case scenario.
I like Tyson Bagent more than I like Shane Matthews. I like him more than I like Caleb Haney. I like him more than I like Cordell Stewart. I like him more
Hey,
than
leave the Shane Matthews band
God,
alone.
you just
Cordell
love
Stewart
Shane
was the
Matthews.
starter. I don't think Cordell Stewart was ever the
I
backup.
know he was, and I would still take Tyson Bagent over Cordell Stewart.
I love Shane Matthews.
You clearly do. I think it's because you guys kind of look like each other.
Who was the other
Shane
one?
Matthews
Scott.
fan.
Who was the other one? Scott Chandler? Was that his name?
Oh, there's
Who's the
Oh,
Chandler?
Chris Chandler.
Chris
The list,
Chandler.
the list goes
Chris
on.
Chandelier
Josh
Chandler?
Campbell. Remember Josh Campbell? I would take
DJ Prophet. I like this, man. I have to shout this out because this is clever and it's to me it's relatively close to the truth. He says Tyson Bagent can be Bagent looked great against Field and PJ Walker. Where was it?
Tyson Bagent could be Case Keenum and Caleb
Yeah,
Williams
Bagent can be
Patrick
Case
Mahomes.
Keenum and Caleb Williams can be Patrick Mahomes. The ceiling obviously is tremendously higher for Caleb Williams, but even regardless of that, the ceiling for Tyson Bagent is not starting quarterback in the NFL.
I think Tyson
And
Bagent
that's
could
why
be
you can
Alex
compare
Smith.
him to Case
I
Keenum.
think he could be
and
Alex
is
Smith.
it-
I think he could be one of the best game managers in the NFL because he looks poised already and he's very
Chase
young.
Daniel.
Yeah.
He's a little
Yeah.
bit better than Chase Daniel.
which is
Sure.
a backup quarterback.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. But what did Chase Daniel do? He came in on Thanksgiving in Detroit and got us a victory. I mean, come on.
I thought the
never
Bears
know if
lost
these-
that game.
No, they won. They won.
Do yourselves a
He
favor,
started on
guys. One
Thanksgiving.
day, go back and look at how much money Chase Daniels made in the NFL as a backup quarterback. It'll blow
40
your.
million.
It
No,
will
it
blow
probably
your-
won't.
It's
It'll blow
40
your
million.
mind. I mean, that guy. Every time he got signed, it was like a $10 million contract. I'm like, what backup quarterback is besides the Bears giving Andy
It's
Dalton
eight alone, man.
$10 million? Oh, didn't the Bears give Mike
Good for
Glennon
them.
$18 million?
Good for them. Good for Bagent if he does it for the next 15 years. Good
I'm
for
pretty
those
sure
guys.
the Bears gave Mike Glennon $18 million to
They did.
be the
Something
quarterback.
big.
That's-
Hey, sorry, son. We're gonna pay you a lot of money, but you're not gonna get hit. That's all right.
Yeah, Laz. I like Laz's comment here. We'll get into Caleb Williams later, but he says, "I just hope Caleb doesn't hold the ball too long and can learn structure within the offense, anticipate and let it go." I agree, and that right now is probably Caleb Williams' biggest
Probably his
weakness.
biggest fault.
Just the anticipatory throws right now. That's the one thing that Caleb needs to improve on to be one of the best all time. One of the best all time. Because if you pair that with his God-given talent, what he can do when the play breaks down,
Not God-given, hard earned.
he could be one of the best players.
You know, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting because that Buffalo defensive front is better than last year, and
And certainly better than Miami.
Yeah, it'll be a great test for the Bears to go out. They do have joint practices with them at the end of this week ahead of that football game that I believe was originally scheduled for noon and switched to 7 p.m. If I'm not mistaken.
DJ's killing it. This guy's killing it, dude. He's absolutely Mike Glennon is Voldemort in my home. That name is not to be
Are you
spoken.
talking about the Buffalo game, Sean? The pushback?
Yeah. I believe when the schedule came out, because I looked at it, the Bears were noon, and then I don't remember what the Kansas City game was. Then they were talking during the game. They're like 7:00 on Sunday. I'm like, that's awesome. I actually prefer that. The Bears under the lights at Soldier Field. Kind of a precursor to the Monday night game under the lights on opening night in Chicago.
I talked about guys how I thought for the sample size that we got, the quarterbacks that mattered, let's be honest, between Tyson Bagent and Case Keenum. I'm going to exclude Reed again. They had a pretty good showing. And I think that considering none of the Bears starters
What's up,
played
Phil?
and those two quarterbacks were able to not make major mistakes, that's a good sign for Ben Johnson's offense because we're not even seeing the best do it right now. And I
It
thought
is. And that's
Go
kind
ahead.
of where I'm at. I'm just hoping that Tyson Bagent gets a little better because I don't know if anyone thought in the chat or watching, because I saw some stuff on Twitter where people were like, Tyson Bagent looked great. He looked awesome. I didn't think he looked all that great. I thought he stared down a lot more receivers.
I mean, I think he looked like
not.
exactly what you should expect, right? Like if Tyson Bagent is playing for the
No.
Bears, you're probably not going to beat teams 47-13. It's
No,
every
but that's
game's going to be
fine.
21-24 or 24 to
But you also
27.
can't
unless
stare
Deontay
down
Foreman
receivers.
goes off.
Because
That's kinda what it is.
when you stare down the receivers, that's exactly what happens. The defenders pick it up, they tip the ball, it leads to interception.
Yeah, but I mean, couldn't you find a fault? Couldn't you find a fault in every backup quarterback in the NFL? And that's why they're back.
Sure. Sure.
Maybe that's his
You
fault.
find a
Maybe
fault
that's
in every
Here.
starting
3
quarterback.
years
man.
in the league, these mistakes shouldn't be happening. All I'm saying is I'm fine with Tyson Bagent being the backup. I'm talking to all the knuckleheads out there that think that this guy should be starting day one. Where's Melon Crusher and Anthropology 2000?
Crusher.
Because if they come on here and they tell me they
It's
love what they
Smasher.
saw, I will absolutely laugh them off the show, because it wasn't like, oh my God, this guy should be starting over Caleb Williams. It's like, oh my God, I'm glad he's
Well, that's
not
just a
starting ahead of Caleb
ridiculous
Williams.
sentiment. And by the way, I said it on Thursday night a couple weeks ago, guys. If you truly in your heart believe Tyson Bagent should play for this football team over Caleb Williams, it's because you loved Justin Fields. That's the conclusion I've reached regarding that topic.
Real quick, let's just say what's up to everybody in the chat here. Again, we've had a couple people join us since the last time. Mike Ross, thanks for joining the show. Erica, breaking news, Bruce as always. Dante, Phil, Bears fan for life, always a loyal, faithful. DJ Prophet, Ron, Mike Ross, Laz, Nick Shelby, Dante Purify. Who am I missing here, guys? Help me out.
Mike Ross.
I mean, everybody, V-Dogs here.
Everybody.
We appreciate you guys so much for joining us. Thank you. If you haven't already, please hit that like, subscribe button. Anybody watching on Twitter, please.
You know what?
He
watched Tyson Bagent, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't go on that show tonight.
I can't face the music." Yeah.
Anybody watching on Twitter, please go over to our 4-Star Chicago Sports YouTube page and hit that like and subscribe button. And now, guys, we have another loyal faithful in the building. Romy, what's up, man? How are you doing? He says Melon Smasher was dropped when he was a baby cheese.
We more than implore that Melon Smasher come and join the chat, guys, and put his ridiculous comments in there. I like those conversations. That's what sports is about.
Sean, let's talk about this coaching staff, man.
I actually wanted to get to the defense really quick.
Yeah, I was going to say.
A couple of the
real quick.
standouts.
I said this.
Here he is. Here he is. You guys asked and you shall receive. What's up, Anthropology?
Hey, Anthropology.
Yeah, like I said,
we just talked about you.
Was there anybody else on the offense? I mean, we just talked about the quarterbacks play. We talked a little bit about the offensive line.
Before we go to defense, let's just get the elephant in the room out, because there's things I want to say about everyone's 7th round darling, and we'll take a quick sneak peek at his best run of the day.
The play, spitting it out, the attention to detail of how Ben Johnson wants his offense run.
All right, so I'm just going to get this out.
He had a decent game.
What'd you say?
So you sound upset that he had a decent game. He did have the highest. He just had the highest rush per average on the Bears yesterday.
When he ran behind a backup line,
5 yards per carry yesterday. So not a bad debut.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Oh boy, here we go.
Oh my God, I'm gonna smash my head off this desk. Kyle guy.
Don't threaten the chat with a good time, Sean.
No, he's a guy. All right. He's not a special guy. He's not the worst guy. There's a reason he's a 7th round pick. And when you watch him in a football game like you did, 1st round picks have burst, explosion. He lacks both. He also got destroyed, tossed to the side like a sack of potatoes after all we heard. He's great pass pro. He's good at knocking people out. Really Gay treated him like a bitch and tossed him to the side. This guy's got a long way to go. Everyone, I got text during the game. Oh, Roschon's toast. This guy's the shit.
What's up, dude?
I can tell you what Roschon Johnson can do. He can play in pass pro, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. That is what he can do. And Kyle Monangai did not earn that in this football game against not a good football team. And when I see him in that 10-yard run, there was 2 nice cuts where he bounced to the outside. A fast running back is bouncing that to the outside and taking off down the sideline. This guy is who he is. There's a reason he fell late in the draft. I hope he makes this team. He will make this team, I should say, especially with the way the running back room is right now. But if you think he's stealing DeAndre Swift's job or he's going to be some NFL's leading rusher, you're sick in the brain. That's all I got to say.
No, so I think he was brought here for a very, very specific purpose, and I think
I agree.
He showed yesterday
I agree.
Serve that purpose. They want Kyle Monangai on the field when they need tough yards, 2nd and 3, 3rd and 3. Kyle, go get this first down. He looked to me like he's capable of doing it. Like I said, I understand yesterday was just a preseason game, guys, but here's your yards per average for every quarterback or for every running back. Monungai, 5 yards per average. Hankins, 3.2. Ian Wheeler, 2.8. Travis Homer, 3. I mean, he was the diamond in the rough yesterday. Not to say that any of these guys are amazing players. And I also do agree with anthropology here. Roshan Johnson is starting to get the conversation of a guy who cannot stay healthy.
Ian Wheeler, though, had a big touchdown run that was negated.
I was just going to bring that up. I
like Ian Wheeler
looked
too.
fantastic.
And that doesn't include
Honestly,
the catch. Obviously, doesn't include the catch.
Kyle, when you talk about burst and explosion, the only running back I saw with that yesterday was Ian Wheeler.
He's slower than I thought he was, though, man.
Well, he's also coming off a massive injury as well.
He's coming off a massive injury.
He's actually a very fast guy. He was drafted to be a special teams returner.
I don't know if he'll ever be the returner that he was supposed to be. But listen, I'll say this: the effort on that touchdown that was negated. I mean, he was hit hard. He was hit hard in the backfield. You could hear it, and he just kept kind of crawling forward, and then he made a move on us. He put a DB on skates. I mean, that impressed me. That impressed me. I know he's playing the bottom of the barrel defense, but still, it's about your effort, man.
He's comparing Kyron Williams. He's comparing Kyron Williams to Kyle Monungai, and
he's saying you can get a running back undrafted in the late in the draft whenever you want. That's basically what he's saying.
I hope that's what he's saying, because I believe Kyron Williams is about 150, in between 150 and 170 in the draft. I don't know off the top of my head, but I know it was somewhere right in there. But nonetheless, I'm not saying he's a bum. I'm just saying I'm going through X today. I'm getting text during the game. Oh, this guy's RB2. He's amazing. He's this. He's that. Yeah. Watch the game. Throw him to the ground like a sack of potatoes, because that happened, guys. And
I mean, I think I can say this without a doubt. DeAndre Swift is the most talented running back on this football team. We didn't get to watch Roshan Johnson play.
100%.
Well, that's why he didn't play in yesterday's game, guys. I mean, listen, they already know that DeAndre Swift's the starting running back. What they're deciphering now is who's the backup, Roshan Johnson or Kyle Monungai. And the guys,
thank you,
whether Kyle Monungai is great in pass protection or not, and I've talked about it, he's a 7th round rookie. He's going to develop. He still needs time to develop.
Yeah,
he's played one preseason game, but I can tell you this: if Roshan Johnson continues to deal with these injuries, the decision is made. It's already made. It's not going to be a debate. It's made.
I'll be honest.
This is the time for Roshan to come in and shine and win that job, and he's not here.
I'll be honest with you, Kyle. I have a really bad feeling. Britton Brown was signed, obviously. I think he was actually signed before Travis Homer got hurt. I posted it on 4-Star Chicago Sports when he did get signed. This was a couple days prior to the preseason game. So I think the Roshan injury is a lot more severe than what they're saying. And obviously they don't have to tell us at this moment in time. And Travis Homer obviously coming up. Now, I know Travis Homer, Brandon, you said, Travis Homer, you never want to see him have a carry. Travis Homer is a guy that, if you talk to his coaching staff, is heavily, heavily regarded as a fantastic special team player. They wanted him here for that specific role.
Well, he didn't look too good yesterday.
Well,
special teams was brutal.
Special teams was awful. It absolutely was.
Awful.
We're going to get to the defense here in just a minute, guys.
That doesn't warrant a run. I mean, like, if he's a phenomenon, he could be the best damn special teams player in the league. That guy shouldn't be running the football for your offense, man.
Wasn't Travis Homer a Golden Domer too? If I'm not mistaken.
So, listen, I think
the jury's definitely not out.
I think the Bears, and I don't know why you're bringing guys in right now, man. Like, even if Roshan Johnson's injury is more severe than you anticipated, I mean, you've got Haskins or whatever, Hankins, whatever the guy's name is. I mean, these people have already been here at camp and learning the Bears offense. Now you're going to bring in a guy who knows nothing about it. I mean, that guy's going to get cut. I don't see the purpose of that. It's not going to make a difference.
Yeah, and you got to remember, Cole Kmet suffered an injury in training camp, and they signed a tight end the next day, and Cole Kmet was back 2 days later, and that tight end they signed is not going to be on this team on the regular season. So
sucks too.
I think they're just required to bring a certain amount of men. I think they're required to bring a certain amount of guys on the active roster into these preseason games. I think it's a requirement. think you have to have 92 players on the roster. Yeah. So if somebody's put on the injury list and is not active for game day, then they automatically will sign somebody just to play that one preseason game, and it'll probably be cut after there. But yeah, I mean, I still believe that Roschon Johnson, Kyle Monangai, and DeAndre Swift are all going to make this team. I'm just talking about the way that the depth chart plays out. If Roschon Johnson continues to be injured all the time, he's going to fall to third string for this team. It's not even a question. If you can't be healthy, you can't play football. Sean, what's your best ability?
Availability.
I disagree with you, I think learning Ben's offense is a pretty important
it's
aspect.
Not an easy thing.
And I think it means a lot to them and whether or not you make a football team. Like you got to show that you are capable of doing whatever's asked of you and knowing when the play is called, what it's going to be. And there's a lot to retain. Now, I agree that the running back's role physically is always going to be the same. You know, you want to take the ball and go, but they like Sean just mentioned, Kyle Monangai get destroyed in pass coverage, pass protection. These guys are going to be asked to do a lot of things. And the Jamal Williams things, I'm seeing that too. I'm good.
Well, I'll be honest,
Jamal Williams. I mean, I don't. Does anybody else see that we should be signing these bottom of the barrel budget?
Well, he's
players
just familiar
right
with Ben's offense, guys. He played for Detroit. He played for Detroit. And he had like 20 touchdowns.
And that was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, sure.
And the guy's like 30 something.
I'll say this. You don't have to worry about Jamal Williams because Jamal Williams and Britton Brown were in the same tryout. And guess who didn't
they signed Brown,
So I don't think we gotta worry about him. But we're gonna flip to the defensive side of the ball. I got some highlights here. This is going to absolutely get us fired, but that's fine. We'll cut it out later. But we're going to take a look at both of these gentlemen, and then we're going to break them down and talk a little bit about what we think about these two stars. Hopefully stars.
Looking for a stop on the goal line again. It is right, and it is a stop, and it is Sewell. And the Bears hold on.
Head out of it.
On third down and long for Ewers, still looking for his first completion. That ball's loose. It is.
Hold on, we got one more.
Whether it's Robinson, hey, it's up for grabs. Who's going to be the next guy? Booker, we've described. I mean, this guy is a poor. For second and 18. Pressure again on Simmons. Honestly, your best bet is to put TJ.
And I gotta say, Rock Chalk Jayhawk, man. I hope this guy. I really, really hope.
That Superman sack was fucking awesome. I mean,
the strip sack. The strip sack.
They call it the swan dive. It's called a swan dive.
On third down and long for Ewers, still looking for his first completion. That ball's loose. It is.
That was like 100 feet away from me, man. And I saw him coming around the back end, and I was like, oh, whoever, I don't know who that was. Ewers was doomed.
Yeah. Did you see that him absolutely like waste that left tackle? It looked like Kyle Monangai
he was beating whoever was across from him, man. And I like, listen, I know Kyle, I think you said he read a report that called Ruben Hippolyte one of the biggest losers of this game. Like, he led the team in tackles.
No, Ruben Hippolyte was not on that list. Oh, I think Ruben Hippolyte played very well. Sean and I talked about him this morning. You guys, the linebacker room is deeper than I thought. I mean, first of all, Bozeman had a couple big plays. Eccles recovered both the fumbles, so he finally obviously finds himself around the ball a lot. Noah Sewell had 5 tackles and a tackle for loss. Ruben Hippolyte had a tackle for loss. He had 4 tackles on the day. I mean, all of these guys played well. The only guy who didn't stand out to me was Amen Brennan.
Ogbum, I don't even know. Ogbum.
We call him.
Did
you guys hear Ben Johnson? He just goes, "Amen." And he moved
of course, because he doesn't want to do what I just did.
Yeah, but I think all 3 of those guys. Listen, I'm not saying that any Bozeman or Eccles or Hippolyte are going to be the best linebacker in the NFL, but I'm saying
you heard it. Kyle said they're the best.
These guys are late round picks. I think they all look like they're NFL caliber players who could step in for a couple games. We've been talking about all offseason how if TJ Edwards or Tremaine Edmonds gets hurt, we're in big trouble, and that linebacker room is so thin. I'm just saying, I don't think it's as thin as we thought. Now, is it still one of the thinnest rooms on the Chicago Bears? Sure, no doubt about it. But I think that Noah Sewell is capable of playing NFL football. The only thing about Noah Sewell that I don't like is he's not good in coverage, and that was one of the things that they talked about when he was coming into the draft. He's not good in coverage, and he didn't look good in coverage yesterday in any way, shape, or form. But Ruben Hippolyte did. Ruben Hippolyte did look good in coverage. He already had a pass defended. Ruben Hippolyte already has a pass defended, and the catch he gave up was a 2-yard catch, and he tackled the guy immediately. Did not let him move 1 yard upfield.
We should keep Bozeman just because his name is Swayze. Swayze Bozeman.
We should keep Bozeman because he played on the Chiefs and he knows how to win Super Bowl.
I'll say this.
We should keep Bozeman.
I'll say this personally. I've been screaming about Noah Sewell for a couple of years.
Screaming about him.
If you knew his name. Finally got a coaching staff that can utilize his abilities. Obviously, one of them is not in coverage, but you can stand this guy up on the edge.
Special packages.
You can do certain things. He can be a difference maker. He showed it in the first half of this football game. When given the opportunity, he can make plays. Now, when it comes to Ruben Hippolyte, for me and me alone, we don't have to agree on this. I personally think he has a long way to go. I saw what he did. This is a guy I think that won't be contributing to this team for at least a half a football season. Maybe I'll be wrong about it. He did have that nice coverage on that little out route. He deflected one pass away, and as Kyle pointed out, he grabbed that guy on the pass that he did get. On the other out route to the hash, but there's just some things. He looked lost at times on the field.
He did. There was a few plays. He ran into his own players twice.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
But it takes
you guys are talking about late round rookies. I mean, that's
I'm talking about a 4th round pick. And when we talk about 4th round picks, I can give you about 12 that contributed last year on NFL
football. I can give you about 20 linebackers got drafted
that made Pro Bowls. No, I don't care. You're not.
Sean, let me speak. Let me speak. I can give you about 20 linebackers who got drafted before him who aren't going to make impacts on their team this year. I can give you about 20 of them.
I didn't say the Bears should have took a linebacker there.
All I'm saying is, when you get guys at fourth round picks, or you get 5th round picks, 6th round picks, that you talk about Kyle Monanga and his pass protection. I mean, as long as these guys look like they've played football before, that's a good start, and you can only build off of that. All you can do is develop them. That's called draft and develop. That's what we're talking about. I've seen players in the past for the Chicago Bears that we've drafted in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, a la Tyler Scott, who look like they've never played football a day in their life. I've seen it. These guys look like they've played football.
No, it happens more often than not in this city.
Do I think that Ruben Hippolyte's going to be the best linebacker of the Bears at any point in his career? No, definitely not. But a guy who could step in, do you have a little more depth than you did 6 months ago? Probably, yeah. I think this guy is capable of playing and pass. The only thing is, right now, these guys, Sean, to me, Noah Sewell and Ruben Hippolyte can only be used for certain things. They can only be used for certain things. They can't be used as every down linebacker.
That's why they're here.
That's what I'm saying. So if you have to use them in a package and they're all both on the field at different times for different things, great. Good. At least those 2 guys make up one guy. It's better than it was before.
I'll tell you this right now. I think that Noah Sewell can do a lot more things on a football field.
Broski mentions Bayless and not knowing how to play football. Yeah, that's one of the most egregious examples of what
he's a 3rd round pick.
If we're counting on long extended times of Ruben Hippolyte this year, we're in big trouble at that spot.
Listen, so you guys mentioned, hold on, before you guys, I missed the Austin Booker
Edmonds
thing.
Are out for a long extended time.
We didn't get to Austin Booker yet.
We didn't get to Austin.
Okay. I think if any of the starting linebackers of the Bears are out for a long period of time this season, they're in trouble. And I don't know if that's necessarily any correlation to Ruben Hippolyte or Noah Sewell. I just think that they're backups, and the Bears need their starters because they don't have a ton of depth at certain positions. The linebacker is certainly one of them. All I'm saying is the depth is better than I thought it was. I'm not saying it's good. I don't think it's good, but it's better than I thought it was.
Well, the depth on this team, top to bottom, is better.
The fact that Noah Sewell made that play at the goal line when we didn't even know who Noah Sewell was 3 weeks ago, and then you see him come into this preseason game and he makes that play at the goal line, or Ruben Hippolyte defends a pass and then tackles another guy the second he catches the ball and doesn't allow a first down. All I'm saying is if that's what these guys are going to be used for, if that's what their specialty is, like Ruben Hippolyte, you're going to use it in pass coverage. Noah Sewell, we're going to use you at the line of scrimmage whenever it's short down. When we know they're not throwing the ball, you're going to come in. I'm saying I think these guys are better suited to fill in than we thought that they were. That's all I'm saying. Still don't think it's a strong room for the Chicago Bears. I think the linebacker room is still one of the weakest rooms on the Chicago Bears. I'm just saying it's not like Nick Roach when we were like told that Nick Roach was going to be one of the best linebackers in the NFL, and the guy looked like he had never played football a day in his entire life. It's not like, Sean, what was the other guy's name? The Kasim Green. Remember that? When they were drafted Kasim Green, we were told he was going to be one of the best players in the NFL, and he's going to be a starting linebacker in the NFL, and the guy sucked. He was terrible, awful, garbage, didn't belong on a football field. I think these guys do. I think with some developing and a good coaching staff, both of these guys could find a place in the NFL. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I think Noah Sewell's had a place in the NFL. I'm not sold on Hippolyte. That's just where I am. I need to see a lot more out of him.
And he should, right? Sean, he's been in the NFL for 3 years. Noah Sewell should look like he belongs on a football field. He's been here for 3 years. Three years of development.
Squeegee says, BS, neither Sewell nor Hippo looked good in coverage. And then he says, sorry, my speller's drunk.
No rookie in the world is going to step up unless he's a top 20.
I mean, they only allowed 214 yards passing.
An exception to the rule. No rookie in the 7th, 5th, 6th, 7th round picks are going to come onto the field and be, if they were, they would have been drafted in the first round.
They only allowed 15 receptions, but by some pretty god-awful quarterbacks.
And Squeegee, I will tell you this. Sewell's never going to be a cover guy. He's a specialty player. Yes. And I don't know what I don't know what Hippolyte is. I'm glad you guys are somewhat sold on him. I am not. That's just where I am. If you don't like it, I don't give a shit. I'm not sold on the kid, not at all. He made 2 good plays. He also ran into his own player. He missed coverages. He's got a long way to go.
You're sold 100% on Noah Sewell because of 2 good plays?
I've been sold on Noah Sewell. I've been talking about this kid for 3 fucking years, dude. It's not like all of a sudden he did something. I'm like, oh, he's good. I've been telling you for 3 years that if the Bears utilized him in a passing down role, he would excel.
Right.
So if you look at his athletic ability and what he did at Oregon, that's what he did.
And what
he's
I'm
not
saying
a coverage guy. He's a specialty
What I'm
player.
saying is he's had 3 years to become that guy. Give Ruben Hippolyte the same 3 years, and let's have a conversation about Ruben Hippolyte.
He's held the clipboard. He's held the clipboard.
Sean, they were picked in the same round.
No.
They were picked in the same
round.
round.
Noah Sewell, Sean, but you said Noah Sewell should be in on passing downs, but that means he should just be an edge rusher because he's not covering.
I've been saying this,
but he's got a bulk. Listen, guys, I like sneaking Noah Sewell in there for a blitz. I'm not lining him across from anyone. Not a chance. That guy's not. He is going to get tossed around.
He has speed to beat people off the line. This is what I'm telling you.
His role is very limited to me, even today,
and that's fine. That's fine. I hope Hippolyte turns into Brian Urlacher. I don't see it. I see him more along the lines of Nick Roach or excelling as a safety in the NFL because I don't think he's a linebacker in the NFL. I'm sorry.
Yeah, all I'm saying is I trust this coaching staff, and if these are the guys that they wanted, and they've played 1 preseason game, I'm certainly not going to come to a conclusion about their future or their ceiling or anything like that. I think for what I saw yesterday, what I saw from 1 game, they both look like there's things that you can build off of. They have strengths
they
build off and
both
make
look
them
like
better.
Noah Sewell looks like he's a better player than he was a year ago, and I expect that to be the case with every player that was on this team because the coaches are better.
Ruben Hippolyte clearly showed up yesterday. You could tell he's a very fast football player.
They're better at stopping players from doing dumb things.
Ruben Hippolyte is a safety in the NFL, not a linebacker.
Or maybe a tweener, which is fine.
Broski's right here, guys.
Just like Brian Branch. Brian Branch is a safety, but how many times do you see him basically playing outside linebacker?
We don't know anything about Ruben Hippolyte, and we know very little about Noah Sewell. We know that the coaches didn't think Noah Sewell was worth being on the field. And I don't know
other coaching staff.
Yeah, and I don't know if
Mike Ross. Mike, I wouldn't say based off of a tie with the Dolphins, we're winning the Super Bowl. Like maybe if we won like 48-13, like New England did over Washington, you could say something like that. But based off of a
guys,
tie,
by the way, I wrote a piece. Me and
winning.
Sean both wrote a piece about this game. Check it out on 4starchicagosports.com. And I said the result of a tie was pretty reflective of who this Bears team is today. They look like they can compete.
Very
in the NFL,
but
they have no business in a bout with any of these big dogs in the league. They just don't. That's where they are to me.
Well, let's talk about the aggression of Dennis Allen, guys. How did you guys feel about the all-out blitz on 3rd down there? That's something we haven't seen from the Bears in a very long time since Lovie Smith.
They were trying to keep the game tied or keep the game tied. So I mean, I giggled. I was watching the game when he did it.
I think they're setting a tone.
Awesome.
I think they're setting a tone and establishing an identity. Like, hey, listen, nothing's going to come easy. This is not the cover 2. If you want a 3rd and 15, you want that first down, you're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to get that ball out of your hand quickly, because on that blitz, Dennis Allen brought pressure from everywhere. Half the team brushed the quarterback.
Another difference outside of an all-out blitz that I want to mention, man. I didn't hear a lot of. I had the radio on today. I didn't hear a lot of Bears reporters or analysts talk about this. Austin Booker stood up for almost the entire game, guys. He was standing when rushing the quarterback. He did not have his hand in the dirt. I haven't seen that from Booker in previous last year as a rookie. He spent most of his time hand in the dirt. That's how Matty Eberflus wanted it. He looked better to me. So did Dennis Allen already to discover something in Austin Booker that I think we all advocated for, that Eberflus just simply couldn't see? Because to me, he's shot out of a cannon when he's already standing up, and he was just too quick and too much for any offensive tackle. And I know they weren't starters, but the guys across from him just couldn't get set. They couldn't get set in time. And there was a few times that he even bull rushed. But I like this guy standing up a lot more than hand in the dirt. And I know we've all 4 of us on this podcast have said it's something that needs to be done more.
Well, I'll be honest. I said this because I watched Kansas football. He came into the league as I believe he just turned 21, because he just turned 22. He had a long way to develop, and that's why I went. Yeah, he was a project, and honestly, the Kansas coaches were surprised he went into the NFL draft when he did last year. They thought they had 2 years with him at defensive end, and he bolted for obviously the draft. Now, if Austin Booker can continue to develop and build off preseason success, which we did not see last year, because last year during the preseason, he put up some monster numbers as well. Hopefully with this coaching staff, he can continue to develop in a rotation on the line to one day becoming an every down defensive end, which he'll obviously be in a rotation this year. I don't know what you thought of Austin, Kyle, yesterday, but he's definitely got that dog in him. So I very happy.
I mean, Sean, we talked about this today before the show. The fact that this almost is a mirror image of last year's preseason is a little concerning. I mean, listen, all Austin Booker could do is go out there and play the competition in front of him, and he obviously had a dominant game. He was the guy who stood out the most on either side of the ball from either team, right? He was by far, he gets the game ball, no doubt about it. Forced fumble, I think 5 quarterback pressures, 3 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. I mean, he looked absolutely amazing, but he did this last preseason as well, and he got more playing time in the regular season we thought he was going to due to a plethora of injuries, and he only finished the season with 1.5 sacks. Now, Brennan, his size, he's probably always going to have to stand up. He's just too small to get down.
The Bears didn't do that
on
with
the
him
end of the
last
line.
season, man.
Yeah,
maybe a few times, but not for the majority.
Maybe it's not his fault that he didn't stand up. Maybe it is the coaching staff from last year. But I mean, I think Austin Booker, as good as he looked yesterday, as good as I think his ceiling can be, I think he is kind of one of those guys who's going to ultimately end up being a pass rush specialist. 3rd down, he's going to get those blitz packages, the NASCAR packages. That's probably going to be the guy he ends up being. The only reason I say that is because if you look back at Dennis Allen's defense, and I looked at him when he was coaches in the NFL over his last 20 years. There's just not that many guys that are the same size as Austin Booker in the defenses that he's coached in the past. So obviously it's something he tries to avoid. Now, that being said, Micah Parsons isn't a huge defensive end in the NFL, and that guy gets after the quarterback better than anybody in the NFL.
That guy can do everything and anything that.
Yeah, he can drop back into coverage. He can play the run. He can do everything. I think if you give him those NASCAR packages, Austin Booker can be a guy who is solely on this team to get after the quarterback. I don't think you're going to ask him to block up lanes and stop the run, but I think the Bears could get 8, 9, 10 sacks out of Austin Booker if they play him in situational football. If they play a situational football with him, I think Austin Booker is a guy who could make an impact on this team and pleasantly surprise Dennis Allen and his coaching staff. Because I bet you when they got to Chicago, they were like, man, this guy's just a little undersized for our scheme, for the type of defense we want to play. But when you watch the tape, how could you possibly keep him off the field? Well, all Austin Booker does is get in the backfield and disrupt the timing of the offense every single time he's on the field. And, he did have struggle against the ones a little bit. He did. You didn't hear his name a bunch early on in the game. But at the end of the day, Austin Booker seems to me like he's proven to this coaching staff and to the Bears fan base over the last 2 seasons that if you give him enough opportunity, he's going to make plays, and his technique has gotten better, guys. It's definitely gotten better. He's using his arms a lot more than he did last year. A lot more. It's getting better.
If people do remember, they went to that camp with that defensive specialist, that defensive pass rush specialist. They all went down. So he continued to evolve during the offseason, going to these camps, spending time with his teammates, continuing to learn and grow. And not only that, people might want to realize that he dropped some weight and added 8 pounds of lean mass to his body. Didn't lose any of his explosiveness while doing that. So Austin Booker, he's put in a lot of work in this offseason to come in and be ready for the 2025 season. And I'll be honest, he was explosive yesterday, coming off the edge. He could hopefully turn into a guy who's a nightmare for opposing tackles. And hopefully he can continue to have a strong preseason, and then that will carry over into September 8th, and he can get after some quarterbacks for the against the Minnesota Vikings.
Real quick, Brennan, before you respond, Don Burr is now in the house, guys. Obviously a big Lions fan.
What's up, Trey?
He says tie in preseason out of all 32 teams. Yep, only the Bears. Trey is in the house. He says Noah Sewell was balling yesterday. And then Create Culture, I don't think I've ever seen this name before here. Create Culture says, didn't seem Dom Rob do too much. I'm assuming he meant didn't see Dom Rob do too much. Booker is smaller, but he consistently in the backfield.
There you go, Create Culture.
Yeah, Create Culture. Thanks for joining the show, man. Really appreciate it. He also says,
thanks for being here, man.
Said Bears fan need to give these young men a chance. I agree with you. I think all these draft picks probably there's still a lot of writing on the wall, a lot left to be figured out about these guys. And then V-Dog says, yo, fellas, something I found interesting. Courtney Cronin reported earlier today that Ben took Caleb and a few select players yesterday and ran them through a simulated practice. We got a madman as head coach. Yeah, he talked about that after the game, if you guys got a chance to see any of the pressers. But after the game, he was asked about not starting his starters in this preseason game, and he said, listen, I took Caleb aside, and I ran 70 reps with him. I think that was more important than anything in the preseason game. But he also did say this, guys. This was a little strange by Ben Johnson. It's the only thing I've heard him say so far since he's become the coach of the Chicago Bears that I found a little interesting. He said, there's nothing more valuable than live bullets and live reps, so preseason games. But I took Caleb aside and ran 70 plays, and I talked to him for 10, 15, some 20, even sometimes 45 seconds in between each play. Like, Ben, you just said there's nothing more valuable than live bullets in preseason reps.
Well, I thought
and then you immediately followed it up with, but this is what I'm going to do. That's
the approach to sitting the starters was it shocked me a little bit, guys. It did,
and shocked me too.
Especially when you see
I'm not a big fan, guys.
Ben Johnson is an aggressive coach, guys. That's how he's going to coach this offense. A lot of people can attribute that to just Dan Campbell alone. It's not the case. Dan Campbell would tell Ben Johnson before a game, we're going for it on every down, which means Ben Johnson had to put himself in a mental state to be able to call plays aggressively. It's going to carry over a little bit. He was aggressive in the game yesterday. He didn't want to resort to a field goal to win the game. It surprised me that the aggressiveness that this Bears coaching staff has approached this entire offseason with came to a halt when deciding whether or not their starters would play. It kind of, to me, it kind of stood against everything that they've preached, everything that they've practiced, man. It does. I think they might play an extended amount of time in next week's preseason game. But I did want to say this, man. Before we finish, I get back at Austin Booker real quick. I think he's not a guy that's going to play inside. Dennis Allen likes the guys that can be versatile, they can move around. So I do think, yes, he's there for one reason and one reason alone is to rush the pass. He's going to be a situational player, which is fine because he might be the best one on this team at it. But I also think this. For a guy who was drafted as a potential project player last season who only played 300-something snaps, 352 or something, he was the best of the backups yesterday, guys. And that says something in itself. This is one of the younger players on this football team. He has very little experience when it comes to comparing him to players that have been in this league for some time already. You had Trey Flowers out there. You had Braxton Shaw. I mean, you got guys out there who have been playing football for years. And Austin Booker was the best of the backups on this football team. So I think he's ahead of where he should be in his development from last year to now. And I think that he's a guy who's, like you said, Sean, I think that he is going to be a handful for offensive tackles. I think he is. And I think if you only utilize him in a pass rushing role, so be it. Let that guy be his best at it, man.
Real quick, guys, I want to get some of these comments. Lions run the NFC North is now, so we have another Lions fan in the chat here. But Don Burr says Ben thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. Shaking my head, always has been that way. Come on, I mean, Don, listen, I understand he was on your team and he went to the Chicago Bears, but
he usually is the smartest guy
have
in the room.
nothing but the utmost respect for Ben Johnson. I mean, this guy, what he did for the Detroit Lions should always be. He took you guys from the depths of hell to one of the best offenses in the NFL. That guy should always have respect. And I mean, Lovie Smith never won a Super Bowl here, guys, but what he did for Chicago Bears and Chicago Bears fans, he took them there. He made them a competitive team that was fun to watch. I'll always respect Lovie Smith, even if he left on his own account, went to another team. I wouldn't care. I would always respect Lovie Smith. I think the same should be said for Ben Johnson.
Even a closer comparison, Kyle. Like you're talking about a Super Bowl coach, a head coach of the Bears. I'll always love Vic Fangio for that 2018 defense that was like more than ecstatic to watch. The guys scoring touchdowns on a regular basis. I will always root for Vic Fangio because of the time he spent here.
Yeah, and look what he's doing.
Unit that he coached.
And look what he's doing in Philadelphia. He's the best.
Sean's waving. Yeah. Sean's throwing the flag in.
You know,
I don't understand. Ben was part of Detroit, not Detroit.
Now, Ben, there's going to be Detroit fans that respect him, and there's going to be Detroit fans that hate him, unfortunately. And I said this 100 times on the show, and I'll say it again. Ben Johnson went to management. He went to the owner. They all blessed him, told him, it's your time, move on. What he built for you guys, as Kyle just said, you guys should always love him and respect him for what he did for your organization. You guys were pathetic. You guys were one of the worst teams in history, and you were like we are now. Yeah, exactly, Brandon. Exactly. He turned you guys around. You guys should love.
He instilled a culture that's going to be there.
They're going to give that to the head coach. But
guys, in 2022, the only reason the Lions started winning football games is because they decided to make Ben Johnson the play caller. Before that, they were like 1-6, and then they finished the season winning like 8 out of 9 or something. I don't know exactly.
They finished the season 8.
That happened when Ben Johnson became the play caller in Detroit. He's obviously very smart and knows what he's doing when it comes to the offense.
Yeah, look what Mike Ross says here. Hold on. Look what Mike says here. He was a genius on the Lions. Now he's all of a sudden overrated. Yeah, I mean,
and you guys, I mean, it remains to be seen what he's going to do as a head coach in the NFL. But as far as I could tell, so far so good. And I respect the shit out of Ben Johnson. I think Lions fans should too. I just because a guy leaves you, that's like saying if Barry Sanders went and played for the Bears for the last 3 years of his career, you all of a sudden hated him. Like, that's ridiculous.
I don't hate Jim McMahon, and he played for the Packers. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, he's a really, really good coach in the NFL. He did a lot.
Close though, Sean. That's close.
You know what? He kept my respect when he didn't go to the White House. He didn't go to the White House, man. So I respect him for that. So
I thought he did go to the White House.
He wears a Bears jersey.
He wore a Bears jersey to the White House with his Packers teammates. That's
correct.
He got a lot of grief for that too.
That sounds
and really quick, Don, I have to say this. Do you really think that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes were behind Jamar Gibbs? What's the time? Sam Laporta.
Yeah, but Don Burke, Dan Campbell hired Ben Johnson. He was like, I want Ben Johnson. He retained Ben Johnson from the previous coaching staff and then made him his offensive play caller and offensive coordinator. Like, obviously, if you respect Dan Campbell, then you respect the decisions he made. He's the one who liked Ben Johnson. He liked him enough to make him the offensive coordinator.
Listen, I don't take this for a grain of salt. It's just camp reports. Like all these camp reports in the league seem to be focused on the negatives, but the Lions offense is struggling to get a rhythm, man, and that's being directly attributed to the new play caller, John Morton. So we'll see how that develops.
Yeah, there's a big report about that.
Sean and I have had conversations about who do you draft? Do you draft if Saquon Barkley's off the board? Do you draft Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs? And the more I hear at a Lions training camp, the more I'm leaning towards Bijan Robinson for sure.
I hope everyone's taking Jamar Chase with their first pick.
I really do.
Yeah, he's
I agree that it is Dan Campbell's culture, but I believe this. I believe this, Denver. I believe that Ben Johnson implemented an offense that should sustain success. Anybody who's going to coach that team now should try to emulate what the Lions were doing with the pieces they have. And if you're hearing from camp that there's no rhythm in their offense, It doesn't. It sounds like John Morton's going to be the smartest guy in the room. That's what it sounds like to me. Sounds like John Morton's going to go try to prove something for himself, as opposed to just embracing what somebody left for him.
Well, let me
And if
ask
that
you.
is the case,
Well, yeah, but our
you might
offense,
be in big trouble, because Jared Goff, to me,
Brazel
is a
says our
fragile
offense is
player.
struggling too. Yeah, but we're in the first year of learning a new system. Like, let me ask you a question, Don. Do you think the Lions led the NFL with 33 points a game last year? That was due in large part to the offensive play caller, Ben Johnson. Do you think this season, under their new offensive coordinator, the Lions average below 33 points a game or over? Do you think they get better or worse since Ben Johnson left the team? I want to know your honest opinion. Do you believe that the Lions offense gets better or worse
And they lost
now
both
that
play
Ben Johnson
callers,
is gone?
which could affect the offense as well.
And their center, which cannot be understated.
So Don's saying that Campbell
is.
deserves the credit. He's saying the GM deserves the credit, and he's saying the O-line deserves the credit, but Ben Johnson gets none of it. That sounds like you're nitpicking here.
That's
a cop out.
Man.
Like, everybody deserves credit, but Ben Johnson. He's going to be like Amon-Ra St. Brown, and but not Ben Johnson.
I want to start by thanking God, but not Ben Johnson.
Yeah, Sam Laporte is great. Jahmyr Gibbs is awesome, but
steps back onto the stage of the microphone. Not Ben Johnson.
Basically everybody on the team, but Ben Johnson.
We're just giving you shit, Don Burr. You can feel how you want to feel about Ben Johnson. I hope that things work out for you there in Detroit, not for the Bears' sake. But I don't think that any team, let's remove the name Lions from this. Any team loses both play callers, and I don't see people use the term coordinators, play callers on both sides of the ball. I think there's going to be some natural regression there. And I don't think it's outlandish to say that one bit. It's not a controversial statement. The Lions should expect regression, and their fans should as well. And it's okay if that's the case, because like I said, you lost you lost the king and queen on the chessboard here. So, and you lost the guy who's playing it. So, I mean, there's going to be some growing pains, I believe.
Hey, Mike. Not only did he get rid of McVay and Johnson turned him into a Pro Bowler, but McVay won a Super Bowl when he got rid of Golf. Golf probably won't win a Super Bowl with Detroit. I'm sorry.
Well, C-Spags, we got a new guy.
I'm not going to say anything away from. Listen, when Goff is coached well, this is the thing, man. Jared Goff went from Sean McVay to Ben Johnson, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but it was a weekly report about how much Sean McVay did for a quarterback inside his ear. Do you remember that? Like, the guy basically talks to the whole game and tells you what. I mean, there is no freedom. You are an extension of his mouth. That's what you're saying when you when you break the huddle. So to go from two phenomenal play callers and phenomenal offensive coaches in Jared Goff's career to what? Listen, the last time this guy called plays was 2019 for the New York Jets. His offense was ranked 27th in the league. I think he went like 3-13 when he coached that team, when John Morton was a play caller for that Jets team. So, I mean, to me, you don't have a Kyle Shanahan or a Ben Johnson. There's nothing stating that this guy who's existed in the NFL for some time is going to be one of those young, innovative minds that gets the best out of a quarterback. My concern is that if for the first time in Jared Goff's career, he doesn't have a guy that can just walk him through it, you're going to see some regression there as well. That's all just opinion based, but we'll revisit this conversation by weekend.
And really quick to Tom,
here,
the only thing that the Bears don't have would be Gibbs, because DJ Moore, St. Brown, Loveland's Laporta, JMO is Rome, and Sewell is Darnell Wright. We just don't have Gibbs. Sorry.
Well, guys, we have a new joiner here. C-Spags 007, I guess is probably what he wants to be called. It says Don is more in Bears feeds than his own teams. LOL. Get him a jersey. Dante says, ask Amon.
We love you, Don. We love Don for being there, man. Don, we appreciate it. I would love to talk Lions with you.
Hold on. Dante says, ask Amon-Ra St. Brown how he feels about Ben Johnson. It's Razzle Dazzle says
he's talked about a lot on this podcast.
Did run Detroit. Don responded to my question about offensive numbers with we won 15 games. It's 17 played. Who wouldn't regress? That doesn't answer the offensive question, but it doesn't matter. Erica says Bears 41, Lions 14. Don responds with, you'll see how much Ben, I'm assuming he meant Ben Johnson, runs things with no Gibbs, Sewell, St. Brown, Laporta, or JMO. And then Dante says, Ben has a mobile quarterback now. And then Sean, he responds to you with Loveland is maybe more, hasn't had 1,000 yards in years. Burton maybe an uncomfortable line isn't proven. I don't understand what that means at all. I mean, Moore had 1,000 yards the year before, 1,300. I think he had more than St. Brown that year.
Why mention Burden? Because I think if we're making a comparison to Jamison Williams, I think Roma Dunze is going to be a much better player than Jamison.
I also think Burden
that might be biased.
No, I'm not kidding. Dude, I've said this on this podcast.
Roma Dunze is going to explode this season, guys.
Brandon, you guys have both heard me say this, and you guys have questioned me for even saying it. I think Luther Burden has the ability to become the best wide receiver on the Chicago Bears. This dude is so fucking uber talented, man. People just don't know. They just don't know, but they're gonna find out in 2025.
John, it's all projection. Oh, here's T.
All right, let's move on from the Ben Johnson and Detroit conversation. I'm just gonna do this last comment here because T's always respectful in the chat. So since
I didn't say we had everything you had. I said we don't have Gibbs on this football team.
I think we have.
Well, not to mention T.
I think we have more. I think we just needs as much time to cook as the Lions offense.
Yeah, I was just say T. You can't make it so black and white. Ben Johnson was given a year before that team really started, half a year before that team started clicking. Obviously, the Bears have to learn this playbook. The entire team has a brand new coaching staff, a ton of new players. The Bears went crazy in the offseason and free agency. This is the first year that Ryan Poles went out there and spent all the money that they had. They added 3 new offensive linemen. They added a brand new receiver. They added a brand new head coach, brand new offensive coordinator, brand new defense. Obviously, there's going to be some bumps in the road. They're learning a brand new system. But if you're talking about 2026 and beyond, yes, I think this Bears offense can be as good as the Detroit Lions, no doubt about it.
You can't bake a cake without time, man.
AC Adam has joined the show, guys.
This is going to take some time. And listen, if you're talking about the 2-6 record the Lions had, well, Dan Campbell was calling plays before giving it to Ben Johnson, where they went 8-2. Ben Johnson had a lot to do with the development of your offense. And I'm not saying that the Bears are going to be better, have the same pieces or anything like that, but the Lions definitely lost something in Ben. This conversation was about Lions fans like or disliking Ben Johnson. You lost something in Ben Johnson, and that's why you dislike him. Yeah, well, that is the only reason. There is only one reason to dislike that guy, and it's because you lost his talent. That's it. It's salt. It's all salt.
I'll be perfectly honest too. When it comes to Detroit and what they've done in their history, and it's kind of going to fall back into that favor. I have a bad feeling, and I'm sorry, your offensive line's kind of fall apart. And I'm like, you lost your coaches. I don't see the greatest things for Detroit this year, and as coasting as they did last year. And I don't want to take anything away from Dan Campbell. I do think Dan Campbell, his players will go through a wall.
Dan Campbell's the shit.
Yeah, he's a really good football
and it's not
coach.
like even with Justin Fields and Mitch Trubisky, the Bears put up some damn good fights against Detroit. And Justin Fields is not a remarkable quarterback in the NFL. And it's not like, and even last year, Caleb Williams' rookie year in Detroit, if it wasn't for poor coaching, the Bears could have tied that game with 10 seconds left to go.
Idea.
It could have gone in overtime. I mean, if the Bears get any better at all, if you based it solely off of last year and how they competed against the Lions, the Bears should beat them if they get any better, because they almost beat them in Detroit last year with a rookie quarterback, a terrible coach, and one of the worst offensive lines in football.
They do have Aiden Hutchinson. That's one place they have just definitely beat.
And we don't have that in Chicago. And I'll say this for the Lions. They're very lucky they're playing the Bears in week 2, because if they were playing the Bears twice after halfway through the season, I think you'd be looking at a completely different
think that
story
week 2 game is going to be very interesting.
Oh, Ben Johnson's going to have it on his calendar. He's going to have a big fat checkbook on it.
Going to be very, very interesting. You guys, I don't know anything about John Morton, but I'm certainly not sold on him. I mean, he hasn't done anything in the NFL to make us believe that he's going to be some great offensive play caller. I mean, there's no way that any Lions fan in the world can just come out and be like, John Morton's going to be the best play caller in the NFL. There's no evidence to support that. I mean, there's just not. Ben Johnson has proven that he's one of the best play callers in the NFL. He's proven it.
Well, the reality is the goal for the Bears is not to win it. Listen, if there's 2 trajectories here, as far as I'm concerned, you can say it's because we won 15 games, so we can only step like your regression, your projection is going down. And the Bears, to me right now, guys, and this might be biased, but we have to see it on the field. But to me, based on what I've seen so far in this offseason, the projection's going up. And I don't know, that doesn't mean that the Bears win the division and the Lions lose this year. But if I was a Lions fan, I would concern myself with the possible regression from, like I said, a thing that naturally any team in the NFL would regress from, not because they won 15 games, because they lost the guys who called the plays. And they just don't it doesn't matter who they bring in. The guy's not going to be the Ben Johnson that ran that Detroit Lions offense. It's just not going to happen.
Hey,
Guys, we
and
got a new
might
joiner.
still
really
be there,
quick.
but the
we got a new joiner here.
orchestrator's not.
Well, really quick too. When you talk about Ben Johnson, there's no evidence that he's a good head coach. He's already talked about that. He's come out and said, "I have a lot to learn as a head coach." That's why I hired all these smart people around me, because that's what smart people do. They hire people smarter than themselves to make them better than what they are right now. That's exactly what
get
he
paid
did.
more to do it.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, guys, we got a new joiner here.
Who's that?
Damon Dice.
What's going on, Damon Dice?
He
Hold
says,
on, let's
your
fire you
avatar
up.
is your he says, Tom Burr, is your avatar a pick of coffee? Got blasted trying to make a play on his pick 6 versus the Commander. What's up, Damon? How you doing, man? Glad.
Hey, Don, we love you too,
yeah,
man. Don and T, you guys are our boys. No matter.
Yeah, dude,
I love to hear the
Damon
outside
Dice.
perspective of the Chicago Bears. I'm just saying, for once in my life as a Bears fan, Don T, this feels different. I mean, we've been inside. You guys are on the outside looking in. We're on the inside looking out. This Bears team feels different. I mean, the talent that they've added to this team, and Sean talks about the potential of Luther Bird, and Burnett talks about how good Colston Loveland is a route runner, and he's going to be trouble for people in the slot. On top of the fact that you already have two obviously NFL caliber starters here in DJ Moore and Roma Dunze. If you add that Jahmyr Gibbs next year, this is going to be one of the toughest offenses in the NFL to stop. I just don't see, and you got Ben Johnson calling the plays. I just don't see how there's any evidence to support anything otherwise. I mean, unless Caleb Williams is the worst quarterback in the NFL, but the guy just was the 4th leading single season passer for the Bears in his rookie season with a terrible coach and a terrible offensive line. I'm assuming it only gets better from here, right? That would be my assumption. I think even if Caleb's not the best quarterback in the NFL, he's going to be better than any quarterback that's played for the Bears for a very long time. And if Justin Fields can beat the Lions, then why couldn't Caleb?
He almost did last year.
Well, any team can beat it.
He almost did last year.
It's all projection.
It wasn't for incompetence.
It's all projection, and I understand why a Lions fan, again, is the last time I can make this point. Why you would ridicule a Bears fan who we see time and time again, this team just fails and falls flat on his face. Why you would ridicule a Bears fan to be positive is entirely understandable. But why you neglect to embrace the fact that you should expect regression out of your football? Like no Lions fan has said to me like, oh yeah, we could be in some pretty big trouble. Because just as big a mystery as Ben Johnson is what just told in the chat as a head coach, John Morton as a play caller is just the same. Actually, not. He's called plays in the NFL and it didn't go well. So if anything, it's even worse than a mystery. It's already been seen. It wasn't good. Yeah, and the guy was an offensive coordinator last year on a football team in which he didn't call plays for. It's not losing Ben Johnson is one thing. Okay, if you're Detroit, who you replace him with is what's most important. And guys, were you hearing a whole lot of John Morton interviews before you got hired? But it wasn't a name on my radar.
Honestly,
and I'm pretty in tune to what's
happening
in the offseason.
I thought they were going to hire outside the organization. I thought they were going to hire a proven play caller in the NFL, and I just don't think and we'll see. Maybe he's burning. He learned from the experience on the Jets. Maybe he can get better.
Yeah, that's possible.
That's possible. And he's got a much better team now than he did on the Jets.
Bill Belichick was a failure his first time around, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm not counting the Lions out. That's a damn good football team. The Lions are a damn good football team. They have a very good roster, and they're the favorites to win the NFC North, and by all accounts, they should. But don't be surprised if instead of winning 15 games and averaging 33 points a game, they win the division with 11 wins and average 26 points a game. Don't be surprised, and that is regression. And they got their asses whipped by Washington last year, so the Lions still have some holes to fix. And I think it's getting worse.
Washington sucks. Washington's not making the playoffs this year. Bank on it.
You guys want to talk anything more about Bear?
Ben Johnson made some grave errors in that game against Washington.
Let me ask you guys. Let's move on from this Lions conversation. We do appreciate the comments, Don Burr and T. We do because we like to hear the outside perspective of the Chicago Bears. But I want to get your guys' thoughts real quick. What are you looking forward to in the Buffalo Bills game?
I'm looking to see some starters against a really good offense. I mean,
who do you think will start Sean? Who do you think will start left tackle when the first play is snapped against Buffalo? Think it'll be Braxton Jones or Ozzie Trapilo?
I'm gonna say Braxton Jones.
You think he'll run with Caleb Williams in the first team?
Yeah, and hopefully he doesn't get him killed.
If you guys get a chance, do me a huge favor. Go watch the Case Keenum presser. Okay?
Here, I'll say this, Kyle. I'll say maybe the first drive it's Trapilo or it's Jones. Next drive it's Trapilo. I could see that happening too. To get both of these guys out there with the one, see which one's more efficient. But I'll tell you, on that touchdown pass to Maurice Alexander from this weekend, if that's the Braxton Jones we're getting, I don't want to see him at all. Williams is going to get killed.
What I'm looking forward to, Kyle, is seeing comfortability from Caleb under center in the pocket, trusting his lines, staying in the pocket, which I thought he did a good job of last year because when there was no pocket, he was still stepping up, which resulted in near death. But if there is a pocket, and I was going to say, my other thing is a cohesive unit, regardless of who's playing left tackle, you still got 4 guys that you know are going to be starting for your football team out there, and they need to look good together. And I don't think the left tackle guy can really be all that judged or graded until those 4 guys are playing alongside him and they look like a cohesive unit. But the most important to me, Kyle, what scares me the most when you see these negative reports, and I sometimes do allow these guys to get in the mainstream media, get in my head, I want to see Caleb defy the odds, defy the reports, the negative reports, the negativity, the cons, the voices that are creeping into his head because he's finally starting to defend himself to these things. I want to see him go out there comfortable, confident, make the plays with anticipation like we talked about earlier, for sure.
Yeah, I agree with Brandon. I agree with you, Brandon. I think the most important thing on Sunday's game is how is Caleb progressing in this offense. And Razzle, real quick, I mean, that's why we do this, right? I mean, it's all projection. Unless you're talking about statistics, like this guy threw for 38% and 4 touchdowns. Unless you're talking about statistics, sports is all projections. That's why we're all here talking about it. That's why this is so fun. Just try to be as right as you possibly can. You try to predict as much as you possibly can, but you're going to be wrong sometimes. You're going to be right. It's just all in good fun. But one thing I want to say real quick, guys, if you get a chance to watch the Case Keenum presser from last week, they asked him how he felt about Ozzie Trapilo coming in his last drive, Case Keenum's last drive. They said, how did you feel about Ozzie Trapilo coming in for the last drive? He said, it made me a lot more comfortable. He's like, no disrespect to anybody behind Ozzie Trapilo, but a lot of times late in preseason games, they start switching guys around.
Thanks for coming, man. Thanks for joining us.
Putting in a lot of they start switching guys around. They start putting a lot of guys in who are lower on the depth chart. He's like, when Ozzie Trapilo was out there, I felt comfortable knowing that side was going to be safe. That's a big compliment from a quarterback who's been in the league for 15 years and is 37 years old. Now, obviously, he's not going to go up there and be like, I think he sucks. It scares the shit out of me when he's playing left tackle, but he could have said something like, well, that's the coach's decision. I have nothing to do with that. I just play behind the line, whatever line they put in front of me, that's where I play. He said, I felt more comfortable with Ozzie Trapilo coming back out because sometimes they start moving guys around late preseason games. I mean, he was clearly paying him a compliment. And that's a good start for Ozzie Trapilo. And I agree with Burnett. I mean, it comes down to this game for me, it comes down to one thing. How far has Caleb progressed in Ben Johnson's offense? How does he look playing under center? How does he look throwing anticipatory throws? How does he look running the huddle, getting everybody on the line of scrimmage, calling the plays? Does he look confident? Does he look confused? Does he look like he's forgetting things? How many pre-snap penalties are we going to see with Caleb Williams in the starting offense on the field? I think that's what Bears fans should be keeping their eyes on, and obviously the left tackle position. And then you want to see guys like Kyle Monongai continue to develop. You want to see guys like Ruben Hippolyte and Noah Sewell will continue to make plays. You want to see all these guys who are going to be the second stringers, the guys who are going to be the immediate depth for this team if anybody gets hurt, look like they're capable NFL players. Sean, what do you got?
Yeah, I want to obviously see the same things out of the offense, but I just want to see the whole team as a whole. I mean, this is a perennial Super Bowl contender that we're playing this weekend. Josh Allen comes out. His first unit is out there. How does the defense react? What does Dennis Allen do to slow them down? How does Montez Sweat look off the edge? Can Austin Booker get some play on the edge against the ones and make the same kind of noise he did this weekend against Miami's second and third stringers? I also would like to see, and I know people might look at me and say I'm crazy, I like to see some improved play from the secondary. I thought Josh Blackwell did not have his best game as a pro player. He gave up a couple. I have my notes here. He was blown and he blew coverages at least 3 times in that game and gave up a couple of passes. Nashawn Wright had a decent game. I'd like to see him continue to improve. Terrell Smith, we probably won't see him depending on the severity of that groin injury. So now we're going to have to take a look at another depth piece. I was not impressed with Trey Flowers. I thought he looked lost. He looked awful in coverage.
Josh Blackwell had some good moments.
He did have some he had a batted pass late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
he also gave up.
That was a huge bad pass.
Yeah, he also gave up a pass on 3rd and 15.
Yep,
he was the guy in coverage. He also gave up a 3rd and 7. He was the guy in coverage. I'd like to see that cleaned up a little bit. I'm not ripping Josh Blackwell. I'm saying I'd like to see him stick a little bit better. The one thing that people have to realize here, man, this is a man defense. The Bears are going to be playing a lot of man. You're going to have to know your assignment. You're going to have to stick to your assignment. You're going to have to own your assignment. And if you can't do that, you can't be on this football team.
We heard Tyreek Stevenson say in his interview, we are all on an island. We are all on an island in this defense.
And if you can't do that, you can't be here. And I'll be honest, playing man on Sunday, they weren't playing very good quarterbacks. Zach Wilson and Ewers in his debut. So, and that's what I'm saying. You're now gonna have these guys playing man. You have no Jalen Johnson, you have no Terrell Smith, you have no Kyler Gordon. So this is your depth. Your depth will be starting against a very good offense. Keon Coleman will be out there. I think Shakura is out. I think he's out for till the beginning of the year. But you have Keon Coleman out there. You have Dalton Kincaid to worry about. You will have Ray Davis as the running back. And I know I personally think he's an all-around better running back than James Cook. That's just my personal opinion. I love Ray Davis. I think he's going to be really good in the NFL. So the Bears are going to have some really big question marks against a really good team. And again, the Buffalo Bills are a perennial Super Bowl contender. This is a real football team. We're going to see their ones come out there. And this is the game, folks. We all know this now. There's no more 4 preseason games. It's not the 3rd preseason game. This is the preseason game. The ones are going to be out there against the ones. Let's see what we got. Let's see where we're at. I'll tell you this. If the ones leave this game and the Bears are down 14 or 17 to nothing, wow, I'm going to have a lot of questions next Monday about a lot of things.
Well, another thing that I'm excited to see, man, is Austin Booker, Grady Jarrett, Dio, and Sweat on the same line.
And Dexter.
Well, no, I'm talking about you just because if you move Grady Jarrett's obviously your 3-tech, but if you're moving Dio inside and putting Booker on the outside, you've got 3 edge rushers going after the quarterback. I think Dennis Allen's going to switch it up a lot. I think you're going to see a lot of different lineups on that defensive line. Even when the starters come off, guys, he's going to start having to see what he's got in these guys, especially how they play together. I did like the pass rush, man. I've been very critical of it. I thought it was the one thing that Dennis Allen did best in that first preseason game. Like you said, Sean, coverage was spotty. The run defense did not impress me at all.
No, it was not good.
They need Edmonds and Edwards without a doubt.
And Billings. They need Billings.
What's concerning about that, guys, is all the good things I read about the joint practice with Miami on Friday. Well, I don't remember who wrote it. I think it was Brad Biggs wrote the starting defense. They were giving up huge runs in the run game. Leaky, really leaky, but hopefully they're just starting to get used to each other, and this is part of learning the scheme. But Dante, real quick, guys, he asks, is Zay Frazier practicing? I believe so, because Zay Frazier was never dealing with an injury. He was only dealing with a personal matter. So now that he's back with the team, he should.
He is back with the team.
By all means, be
he was in dress clothes this weekend, though, right?
And
because he hasn't learned enough of the defense. He just hasn't been there enough. But he definitely dealt with an injury in any way, shape, or form. As far as I know.
All the guys in the chat, Sean and Kyle, I don't know if you watched our Thursday show. It was from the Bears blog writer named Something Hughes, made a claim that the Bears are internally stating Jalen Johnson will not be ready for week 1 and possibly the PUP list 4 weeks out. I don't know if there's any credibility or
Brandon. I was going to say I've heard that too. It was on the score as well. I have not heard that from any credible person.
Yeah, when you see that reported by a Schefter or even hear from Ben Johnson, then it's worth noting. But right now, it's something worth keeping an eye on. And because I thought the thing that Hughes said that can be true no matter what is if he's not practicing by the week leading up to week 1, even if he gets in that Friday practice, he's not going to play. He's not going to play in week 1 unless this guy gets a couple weeks.
I guess it's best case scenario for the Bears if he only misses 1 week because the Vikings are missing. And I know Justin Jefferson's still there, so that's going to be a problem, but
No.
at least the Vikings are missing everybody else, right? Like, I mean, that's the best case scenario. The Vikings are missing everybody else. And I will say this real quick, guys, about the game on Sunday and about Caleb Williams and his first live action under Ben Johnson's offense. Temper your expectations, right? So if Caleb Williams goes 7 for 14 and he throws 63 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, and the Bears are forced to punt or they kick a field goal or something like that, I don't want to come here on Monday and see the whole chat be like, Caleb Williams is the worst quarterback in the history of football. This guy sucks. He's a bust.
I don't
waiting
think
to
this
happen.
chat's
Like,
doing that. We know which members of this chat are doing
or
that.
just
I don't think anyone
Facebook.
else is.
Everybody temper your expectations. This is going to be a long process. Like we said, Sean said it numerous times today on the podcast. This team shouldn't be expected to be really like a well-oiled machine until week 7, 8, 9. You cannot implement a playbook in the NFL that's this big in 4 weeks, guys. It's just not realistic. It's not practical.
And V-Dog, my answer is no. Regular season, maybe. He said
Regular season, different
with that
conversation.
4th down gamble yesterday from Ben. I think that if that's a game and you're trying to put a W on the board, I think Cario Santos is out there. And you also, may I say, John Jackson wouldn't be out there. That would be Rome, DJ, Burden, Loveland making that and probably making that catch and making it a more comfortable field goal for the Bears.
V-Dog Burnen had a theory on this earlier in the show. I don't think you were here yet, but he said that he believes that Ben Johnson and Mike McDaniels probably had a conversation at one point, and it just kind of became a game of like chess at the end of the game. They're like, oh, let's not finish this game on a field goal. Let's see.
It was so predetermined. Did you guys notice that? There was like when you're at the end of the game, you're less than 2 minutes, you're in 4th down and you're in field goal range. When you pick yourself up from that 4th down, you look to your sideline like, what are we doing? Am I staying? Are we going? You know what I mean? They just lined right up.
Well, and on top of that,
they never expected the field goal unit to come on the field.
Two things. One, first and foremost, when the Bears got the ball back at the 41-yard line with like a minute and 20 seconds left, whatever it was, they didn't run the ball once, which is very strange because Ben Johnson loves running the ball. And they had a timeout, right? So they could have ran the ball and they could have just thrown a short pass and spotted it and kicked a field goal from the 35.
And Mike and Ben are on the level, dude.
Vernon, you didn't get a chance.
Those guys interacting with one another.
Vernon, you didn't. I was just about to say, you didn't get a chance to see it because you were at the game. But when they meet on the field after the game, they clearly Ben Johnson says something that he was a joke because they both start laughing. So like, I don't know if that was like, hey, how about that?
I think they were having fun, making fun of it. I think they were.
I just wouldn't read too much into that one play.
I did want to see. Listen, I wanted to see the kid come out and try to kick a field goal
so did I. I wanted to see Jonathan Kim kick a 62-yarder.
I thought you lost an opportunity to test your young kicker. That's what I thought because that's a lot of pressure in that moment. I mean, if that kid drills it, that's a kid worth keeping around for a little longer.
Well, not only that, but you're giving him a chance to find another job.
But by the way, did you guys notice that the Bears are out of numbers? That Jonathan Kim and Bozeman wear the same number?
Well, not only that,
that's because this shitty franchise has the most retired numbers in all of football. We can't retire anymore.
I have to say shitty.
Yeah, there was a corner.
There
was a corner or safety wearing 33.
I was being
just like Ian Wheeler. There was a guy in the offense and Ian Wheeler and a guy in the defense. I don't know who it was. They were both wearing 33. All right, guys.
Hey, and I'll tell you this. And as we approach this week, and we just talked about what we're looking for. We're looking for some cohesion out of that offensive line. We have a big test, obviously, in week 1 with Goddard, Van Ginkel, Turner, Hargrove, Jonathan Allen. But I don't know if you guys were watching. This kid got injured last year. He's a second-year undrafted player out of UCLA. Absolutely destroyed the game for Minnesota. Gabriel Murphy had 2 sacks, 3 quarterback hits. When you start reading about him, this coaching staff is very, very high on this kid. So this could be another solid depth rotation
Thorn in the side of
that
the
front 7 for Minnesota.
Real quick, what
do you think they're reading about Austin Booker?
One more thing that
and it could be the same as Austin Booker. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this guy is a preseason wonder. But the coaching staff in Minnesota raved about him last year. He got hurt, missed the entire year. This was his first action, 2 sacks, 3 quarterback hits. Just the name to say, hey, put it on the board and keep an eye on this guy, Gabriel Murphy, defensive end, Minnesota Vikings. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Not saying this guy is going to
put him on your watch
Reggie
list
White.
in fantasy. Another thing that I'm looking forward to watching, man. I think a lot of the chat agrees with this sentiment. We've talked about it on the bare minimum a bunch, and we get a lot of love for it. Tyreek Stevenson in this defense, man. I think the potential for I think Tyreek Stevenson could make the greatest stride on this entire Bears roster besides Caleb Williams. I think that's the guy, and this press coverage, this man press, press man coverage. That dude should thrive. I think that's what he was built for. I think that's what he's made to play.
V-Dog, that game's in Chicago, brother.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited to see Tyreek Stevenson come out. And Tyreek Stevenson and Brisker, this whole offseason, guys have been bringing energy, bringing heat, they're bringing attitude. I think those guys are going to come out on Sunday, both Brisker and Tyreek, looking to put a hurting on somebody. And I think Tyreek is the kind of guy, guys, just his personality. This is what he wants. He wants confrontation.
Don't hurt Josh Allen.
He wants physicality. He wants to be right in front of you when the ball is snapped, and he wants to get physical. He wants to put his hands on you. That's the kind of guy he comes off as to me, just the way he carries himself. I think he's going to thrive in this Dennis Allen system. And honestly, I think it's the thing that I'm most excited about. The piece that we didn't get to see on Sunday outside of Caleb Williams is the thing I'm most excited to watch is Tyreek and this man coverage.
Hey, what's up, Crooked? We were talking about this. What do you got going on Sunday, Brandon?
What's that?
What do you got going on Sunday?
I don't know.
You guys should talk about it, or Sean, you're trying to do a watch party with the chat here. Is that your
That's what I was thinking. Probably mowing some pastures or cleaning horse.
What I was saying is maybe just for the Caleb Williams portion of the game, we go live and the chat comes in and we can do a watch party on Sunday for just Caleb Williams portion of the ball game. You know, not the whole thing, because honestly, I don't. The second half, I may be dozing off. I don't know, but I'll watch it again tomorrow, the next day. But
I should be able to do a few drives.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys, we'll get a definite answer for you guys on Wednesday, but definitely keep in mind
everybody,
that we
hold
might
on
have
really
a live
quick
show
too
on Sunday night.
Everybody in the chat this Wednesday, we tried to get him on this Monday, but he had another show he was already on. Brandon Shagru of the Bears Wire and the Irish Bears podcast, or a network, excuse me, will be on the show with us on Wednesday. We talked to Zach Pearson today. We're going to try and get him scheduled on a Monday show. I think he said the week of the 25th he's going to be available, so that's about 2 weeks out. So we're going to get some Bears beat writers and analysts on here to break down the season with you guys as well, coming up here in the very near future. Actually, starting this Wednesday on the Barely There podcast, we're going to have Brandon on at 7. We're going to go through a plethora of questions, and you guys ask him questions. We're going to open up the floor to him. You guys have heard what we have to say all year. Let's hear what he has to say and enjoy his time on the show for about 20, 30 minutes or so.
Nice squeeze.
All right, guys. Sean, anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
I think we should do an Austin Booker close out here.
I'm with you. He earned it. Where the hell is it? There it is.
Anything you want to get out there before we wrap up?
Shit. Fuck Green Bay.
All right. Yeah. Let's go. That boy. Awesome. Austin Booker. Thank you again, man. Appreciate it.
Chat, we love you. We appreciate you.
Get him on the show. I'm going to make that happen. All
right, guys. Austin Booker's going to be on the show. Stay tuned for that as well. Keep your eyes and ears open. Guys, yeah, we'll be back on Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Guys.
Hold on real quick. I'm going
Northside 9-12
on Thursday with Shane Taub. If he can get me close to the field, I'm going to get to Austin Booker. That's who I'm going to go for. Get him on this show. I'm going to wear a Jayhawks hat too. That'll attract him to me even more.
Yeah, nobody else is going to have a Jayhawks apparel.
Hey.
Yeah, guys. Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. Thursday night, 11:30. And then we're back for the Northside 9, guys. The Cubs are worth talking about, I think, because something bad is going on right now. Noon. And, guys, we just got some praise on social media for that show. It's cooking. Check out Kyle and Sean. They'll catch you up on the Cubs. But they'll be back Wednesday with Brandon Sergey?
Brandon Shagru.
That's what I said. Bear down. We love you, fellas.
We love y'all. Until then, bear down.
Bear down.
Bruce.